Hypocrisy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lost Planning the Interwebs. I'm your host, Nick Ricada of Ricada Law, a small law firm in Central, Sensual, Minnesota. And with tonight, speaking of sensual, is former Funimation voice actor Eric Rolon. How's it going, man?
It is going well, brother. It is going well. It's been
Why don't we have names?
I don't know.
I did not turn them off. Show them. There. Oh my
There we
God.
go. Hey. No, it's going very well. It's been an interesting couple of days. I'm at that stage in my child's development where he seems hell-bent on killing himself if I step away for like 30 seconds.
Wait, how old is this one? This is a new one, right? A freshish one?
He'll be 1 in the month of March. So 15 days he's gonna be 1.
Oh yeah. So is he probably not walking really, but crawling into like a meat grinder?
Oh
right?
yeah, if there was if I had just a dog kennel set up with like 4 or 5 reciprocating saws inside there, I wouldn't even have to leave one of his little arrowroot cookies. He would just go inside. They're like, "Oh, is it saws? Yeah, hell yeah."
Yeah. God, kids just try to murder themselves constantly. It's crazy. I don't understand it, but that's what they do.
Oh yeah, or give themselves concussions on the coffee table, something of that nature.
She's 7. I don't even know how old my kids are anymore. I lose track. I know how old the oldest. I literally know the oldest one's age and the youngest one's age because people always ask, "Oh, what age range are your kids?" Like, oh, 4 to 14. But the next youngest one, who she must be 6 still. Let's see, yeah, she's 6, I think, until summer. Back when she was 2. On Christmas night, we were over at my parents' house and she was running and decided to trip and go head first into like a stone table. And just straight, like 2-inch gash on her forehead.
Ejector halls.
And so it's like, oh, okay, well, time to go to the hospital. And so we spent Christmas at the hospital there. And it's like, why did you do that? Like, that table has been there through so many children, and you're the first one to decide that you needed to ram your face into it.
Just testing the limits of her own little body. Thank God they have, twice as many bones as we do for that first little bit, because they're nigh indestructible.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous. But anyway, so we're here. Oh my God, I left it upstairs. I'm gonna have to go get the box. You sent me a box of things.
Gotta do it, man. It has to be tonight.
I'm gonna go grab it in just a second.
I can tap dance or something for a few minutes.
I'm sure you can. I have no doubt that oh no. I gotta read this super chat from Andrew Clark. Says Sitch and Adam watched your Jedi rant from last night. Sitch said your argument was wrong because the Jedi were a branch of the Republic government. Yeah, sure. Okay. We'll see. I'll go confront them on their home turf and I'll wreck their shit over that shitty franchise and its garbage takes.
Oh, come on. You didn't enjoy Mark Hamill drinking blue milk again?
And sucking it right out of the udders.
Oh, yeah. He just needed it fresh and stringy.
Lay those big conical milkies on me.
Yeah, this is Twin Peaks Endor edition.
Ugh, gross. What a terrible, terrible everything. No, I was talking about how Palpatine was misunderstood and maligned by a bunch of rebel propaganda, and that Disney obviously was in line with the rebels, which is why they've promoted this lie for so long. But that I mean, if you think about who the Jedi were, right? Like, they're an extrajudicial force that implements basically secret police tactics to police the citizens of the Empire, but from outside the authority of the Empire. It's nonsense.
It's
I don't
almost
trust
like
it at all.
it's almost like if you could liken the Catholic Church with some of their more aggressive and violent and lethal actors. That's kind of like what I picture them, only their leader isn't green and short. He's old and geriatric.
Right. But and also, like, while the Catholics may occasionally touch kids, the Jedi groom all of the kids.
Yeah, and then they let one of their maniacs go to just slaughter the halflings.
Yeah, but it was probably a mercy if you think about it.
You know, I never thought about that. But then
the kids are brainwashed by mind controlling old men in robes to be celibate.
So was metachlorian, do you think, like a filler for something else then?
I think
like,
there
this
was
kid's got more.
involved.
This kid went to Epstein's Island in space and he's got more metachlorians in him now than anybody.
Yoda's like, put metachlorians in him, I will.
You push the thing down, you must pull it up first.
Fill him up, I will. Disgusting. Gross. I hate the rebels even more. Every time I talk about this, I hate them even more.
Go get your box. Let me entertain your fan base here.
Go get your shine box.
What's in the box?
I watched Casino.
Well, hello, Ricada Law fans. I am your resident canceled Funimation actor, Eric Rolon. It is a treat to be with you guys again today. I am really looking forward to a great conversation. I hope your week has been phenomenal thus far, even though we're only 2 days in, a Tuesday. If anybody has any DIY ideas out there of how to child-proof a coffee table, please drop links inside the chat, because it seems like my child is hell-bent on giving himself a concussion. He rounded out the day after whacking his head 4 times by busting his face on the side of my laptop. And he's got this little mouse here. It looks like he went a couple rounds with the champ. So maybe pour one out for him. And also, if you know a place I can get really super cheap EVA foam, I'd be much obliged.
I made a critical error right as I was leaving. I said I watched Casino, but I quoted Goodfellas. So,
it's all right. Okay, you mentioned Casino. I've seen that movie a number of times. So I used to love, and I still do love, mobster films. And the thing that sticks out to me the most in Casino is anytime you see Joe Pesci, and it's like one of those monologue-y interlude scenes where it's somebody explaining, yeah, we were doing such and such and this and that, and you see just scene after scene kind of fast panning.
Yeah. It got so crazy that Nikki had to take an extra car.
And they show some guy getting his elbow shattered with the hammer. Well, all I really remember from those scenes, whenever it was Joe Pesci, if he was near a girl, it was always, you'd see them sitting together like this for a second, kind of head to head, and then he would just grab him by the back of the head and slam him down on his junk. And then it would cut to the next scene.
Look, Nikki did not fuck around. He knew exactly what he was up for.
Yeah, he was like, look, honey, I don't even know how to do his voice. He's like, look, honey, there's literally nothing I could do with that girl that I won't force you to do better. Come here.
Oh my gosh. I'm working on opening this thing right now.
So you have to know
you have this taped up like higher than fucking pop star wardrobe.
Had to make sure that it was tamper proof. And Power Keg Greg helped me pick out a few of the items that are inside there for you. So think of him lovingly when you get down in there.
I now question everything that has happened when you said think of him lovingly. All right. Oh my goodness. So tonight we are going to be talking about an interesting bit of news. Have you seen the news that I've seen?
I have seen the news that you've seen.
I found that to be very, very interesting.
It is, because I got an email about the entire ordeal, actually sent to me from my agent, because we work very closely with them. And so I saw that this morning, 10 o'clock, and didn't really have much time to read it, just kind of glanced at it briefly, and then went into a gig that I was working. Wasn't until this evening that I actually sat down and started pouring through the press release and all that. And it's like, wow, there is some big deals going on here, and there's some very humongous changes coming, especially for the fans.
Yeah, and so I would like to talk about some ceramic hairstyling iron box. Okay. I would like to talk about some of the things we can speculate on some things. Mm-hmm. The long and short for the chat, not to keep you in suspense, the long and the short is that Funimation as a brand is being phased out by Sony. The Funimation content is being subsumed into Crunchyroll. And in fact, as far as I understand it, all Funimation content currently has already been transferred over to Crunchyroll. And for those of you who may doubt what's going on, Crunchyroll content did not get transferred over to Funimation.
Yep.
So they did not just spread the properties between the two. They are removing, according to Sony, they are removing the Funimation brand. It will be killed in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
In the near future, which is that's pretty interesting. And I think we can have some speculation on what that might mean for Funimation staff in the corporate merger sense.
Mm-hmm.
I could tell you if I was on Funimation staff right now, my resume would be out. It would be out real quick.
I had to say it's very interesting timing for all this, and it's really interesting given the track record that Funimation has had with Crunchyroll, because they got together, what was it, back in 2016? I think that was when they first tried a partnership. And to my knowledge, there were certain agreements that were made, like, hey, we bring this to the table, you bring this to the table, let's try and make this work. There was also, they were uploading some of their shows to Hulu as well. Mm-hmm. And then 2017, that's when Sony, they purchased this Funimation streaming service for somewhere around like $143 million. And then 2018 rolls around, and Funimation, now owned by Sony, they break off with Crunchyroll. And I was reading some of what Gen Fukuyama was talking about with regards to why that whole thing went the way it did.
Gen Fukuyama.
Gen Fukuyama. I like yours better, but Gen Fukunaga. Actually, he had talked to Newsweek and he said they won't. This is when he was talking about Crunchyroll and partially why they were splitting. He said they won't budge, and we couldn't renew on those terms. What he was talking about was there were some terms that they just wouldn't give on, that they really had to have out of some agreements, whether it was, hey, you've got to agree to do these kind of shows or X amount of our backlog content or what have you. But it was enough that they pulled the plug. And then I do find it odd, though, that Sony was already the owner, pull out a couple years later, now they're right back in. So I don't know if they just came inside there with their bargaining team and said, hey, you guys are dealing with small fish last time, now you're dealing with corporate big fish. We're going to work this out, and we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
What's interesting, because I think Sony buying Funimation, which they did first before they purchased Crunchyroll, I think it vastly inflated the value of Crunchyroll. And so I think what you may have had is unfavorable terms. And then once Sony buys Funimation, Crunchyroll stock was doing stock, not in the literal sense of stock, but the Crunchyroll brand is doing very well, kept growing through the organic growth of just online streaming services becoming more and more prevalent, and people becoming more and more used to having their money spread across multiple platforms. But also with the main competitor of Funimation being like taken into Sony, and Crunchyroll being the next big choice or the next competitor, it makes a very tantalizing target for Sony to buy them up. And so the value to Sony is probably higher than the market value of the company. So they bought them for like 1.17 billion.
Oh my gosh.
And I mean, they paid 165 million or something for Funimation.
I think it was 143, I believe, unless that was just for their streaming service, and then they paid extra for the entire entity. I don't know, I guess the full number on that. All I know is the 143. What was really interesting is it's such an odd time for this to be going through, because Funimation, they just moved from their old location in Flowermont to this whole new building, and they went through all the hassle of fitting that out with all the Funimation branding, stuff like that. And then now this is coming. And according to the Crunchyroll press release, they're going to be, and they already have started, rebranding all of Funimation to now be Crunchyroll. It seems like if this is something that happened last year and was really super hush-hush until they had these 40,000 plus episodes uploaded, then why would you go through the hassle of putting the marquee on the building, Funimation, that you're now moving into, if you just plan to rip it down again.
My resume would be out because there was a difference to me in the customer facing sides of Crunchyroll and Funimation. Now, I want to put this out there. I'm not plugged into the going on of anime companies. Before the Vic case, I couldn't have told you a single voice actor's name who voiced anybody ever. Very much a casual. Okay.
Sure.
So like, don't, and I do not follow I know some people like follow all these things all the time. And so if I get something wrong on this, please let me know. But the idea that, where was I trying to remember exactly what I was going to say with this, but the customer facing side of Funimation was a message sculpted by a bunch of loose cannons, people like Jamie Markey, people like Monica Rial, people like Sean Schemmel, for example, people who will actively go out and disrespect a large subgroup of the fandom based on politics or whatever, because I'm going to get my message out and I'm going to say what I want to say. And by the way, if you don't like it, I don't want your money. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I never saw that from Crunchyroll.
No, definitely not. And I think largely because, to my knowledge, Crunchyroll does do a little bit of dubbing, not nearly as much as a place like Funimation or Sentai or Bang Zoom, but a lot of what the vitriol that I've seen online, especially inside the social media realms like Twitter and Facebook, where you do have the personalities who are behind the microphone on there in a really heavy way, being so derisive about political issues and party lines, it really seemed to me that the bulk of the muckraking that ended up kind of slinging back on Funimation as a whole was by way of a lot of the actors and a lot of the directors who just had to be so derisive. I think being that the pool was a lot smaller over there at Crunchyroll, and they were more or less just zeroed in on providing not just anime, but light novels, manga, movies, and for the longest time it was all subbed. To me, it seemed like they were like, we're just going to continue focusing just in on this because we know our fans here, and we're going to leave all the other nonsense aside, because I'm sure that they could see which way the wind was blowing.
Yeah, well, there's a difference between having the right to have a political opinion and the wisdom of playing that political opinion to the masses.
Yes.
And sometimes when you work for a company or you make a product that is politically neutral, it is wiser to just say, you know what? I don't care if your politics align with me or don't. I don't want you talking about them at all. I don't want you doing it. And in fact, I don't really want you doing it on your own personal social media or whatever. And if you don't like that, cool. Bye.
Yeah.
Like that's perfectly fine. But we're making anime here. The same thing. This has been going on in comics now. I've been watching a little bit more over the past couple years, because Comicsgate came out a little bit before the anime stuff, and so I was already watching the comics industry, and you can see it. It's like you see these Comicsgate or these comic book artists and writers and colorists and everything saying, "Then don't buy our stuff, you bigot. We wouldn't want your money anyway." It's like, dude, bro, where's your money going to come from? Like the target audience for the comic book right now is men aged 28 to 50, maybe 28 to 60.
It's an aging breed.
Right. And a lot of those people came from a time when there wasn't this PC bullshit. There wasn't this progressivism littering everything, except for the very tail end of fans. And even those, it was on the political outskirts. I mean, I know it's mainstream today, but they don't want to, your audience of people who are buying your product don't want to deal with it. Everybody else is just going to be looking like, why would I buy a comic book when I could just pull up a YouTube video? In all honesty.
Exactly. It's because like back then they were at least subtle about when they would slip something in. Like one of the really interesting things about watching a show like Gundam Wing is it's really there's so many political drama moments within inside that anime. You know, you've got the battle that's going on actually out in the stars with the explosions of the lasers and the swords, and then you have the war that's taking place where people are sitting across the aisle from each other or across the business table and having these, you know, these battles of the minds. But inside there, it was written in to be that way, and it wasn't written in to try and needle one side or the other, whether you know lean Republican or Democrat. It was there to show, hey, this is a component of our story. This is what's going on here. And now you get to see the machinations of this world that we've created. And for the most part, unless an anime has a specific goal in mind to go in hard on a social issue, it usually is just left to, hey, we're trying to tell a fun and entertaining story, and we hope you enjoy it. Like a prime example would be Shield Hero. They were like, yeah,
Shocking concept.
yeah, we're gonna go in hard, and not only are we going to show you this Me Too initiative pushed to the nth degree when it starts to harm those who are innocent, but then we're going to show you, okay, here's the recourse for all that madness here, and this guy is not taking it lying down like he was accused of doing to his alleged rape victim. And inside that instance, you had them go out specifically for that. But they didn't even have to make it obvious, like, hey, we're telling you about this story about this person who was wrongfully accused. They let the story tell itself. It's not
Yeah.
it's not just shoehorned in as though it's an afterthought.
I see some people saying that Crunchyroll is like just as bad as Funimation. They may be. They may absolutely be. I haven't seen it as much,
Yeah,
but
neither have I.
we're gonna get into it a little more. And I saw their social media managers, Adam Sheehan. He came out against Vic, fine. And then I saw someone else just recently say that you know they made High Guardian Spice. But there's a difference between making a trash anime or like making a homebrew pile of garbage and redubbing and quote unquote
Yes.
localizing a Japanese anime with some Western political opinion stuff that was going on at Funimation. But even that, I'm more talking about the overt assault on fans that was happening
Yep.
from Funimation talent.
Oh yeah.
And employed Funimation talent as well as contractor talent.
Oh yeah, because you alienate at least half your fan base. And I saw it really, really, really reach a fevered pitch back when there was the election between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And I saw people online who are very well known actors and actresses making statements to the effect of, if you think this way, then you are X, Y, and Z, and you might as well just go ahead and unfollow me right now if you're going to vote for who I think you are. Or if you're going to vote for Trump, then you just unfollow me right now. I don't want you as a fan. We don't need you in our community. I'm going, okay, given, because just like how you were mentioning, the comic book readers, you know, the current ones, they are between 28 to their upper 50s. And most of those guys were like you and me watching back in 98 shows like Cowboy Bebop and Evangelion. And we were the ones who really, really kind of lit that fire here in America of liking and enjoying this different form of animation coming from Japan. And were it not for us guys who, a lot of them are very conservative leaning, or at least were part of the 90s church going crowd, you're looking at a very, very, very large fan base. And when they make these claims, and when they make these ultimatum statements like they do online, especially during, you know, really heavy political elections and whatnot, where everybody's going to have their leaning one way or another, my gosh, you really spit in the face of the fans, and you make it about more than just the anime. It's like, no, no, no. If you want to be able to enjoy the anime, and not just anime, but anime that I voice in, then you better think exactly the way I do politically,
Right.
spiritually, mentally, or else hit the bricks.
Sword and Scale. I don't understand how Nick is into this weird anime shit. Isn't he like 100 years old like me? Sword and Scale. I'm actually watched anime in high school with friends who were importing fan subbed anime because you couldn't really get it. You couldn't get it in the US.
Yeah,
And
good
then,
old days.
but then I kind of fell off the radar. Like after Evangelion came out, and I watched all of that and really enjoyed it. And I still have the platinum DVD collection somewhere. I don't know. I think it's in my storage unit, but like, so I got that. And then that was kind of the last anime thing I bought for years and years and years. I didn't watch hardly any anime. I mean, an occasional one-off thing, maybe.
Sure.
Friends like, oh, you got to watch this. But I saw anime move from big tits ninjas and robots into slice of life bullshit and fucking terrible comedies like Tokyo Godfathers, which makes me want to actively slit my own wrists and run into a river. God, if you like Tokyo Godfathers, you're a terrible person who probably voted for Kamala Harris. Jeez. Oh, God, it wasn't funny.
Yeah,
Anyway,
dude, you're so on with that. You're so on with that because right now, given that there is, it's like the bubble. I feel like the bubble has popped on anime, but nobody told the studios that are creating it over in Japan because they're cranking out shows left, right, and center every single season. And if you're noticed, so many of them, they are as formulaic as a dime store romance novel. It's like meet cute, adversity, bigger adversity, more adversity, roller coaster. Oh, she won't. Oh, he won't. Saving of the day, we end it. And so much of that, it's like you have the same exact story again and again, just slightly different faces in a different location, and it has lost the soul. I can't remember the last time I've actually watched a show that's come out in the last, I'd say 5 years, with the exception of Steins Gate, the second season for that I've actually been able to sit down and get lost in the story. It's like in Family Guy when they're at like a grade school and they're watching Meg inside this play, and he goes, "Okay, just so you know, I am very aware that I am sitting here watching this play right now. I am not taken by the fantasy whatsoever." It feels like that.
Oh shit! You know what I forgot to do? I was supposed to give a toast over on Joe's stream, and I didn't do it.
Toast him
Damn
now.
it! I'm going to.
Yeah,
I'm going to. I just hope they're watching over here now.
Yeah,
I hope they left that
Harambe
dirty
too.
Joe behind and came over here.
Oh, poor Joe.
Look,
Make sure
he
and pour one out
deserves
for
it.
Harambe. He took a shot for us. We got to take a shot for him.
Let's see. Here we go. So I'm speaking of anime. I'm drinking a weeb whiskey called Kaio whiskey from Japan.
Kaio. Wait, wasn't that weird PBS show with that little bald kid who's just
that little fucking
brat?
cancer patient, the Canadian cancer kid?
Choke him clear out. Man, I watched about 30 seconds of that and I was like, I see why parents hate this.
Don't worry, his white blood cell count will choke him out eventually.
When your body's just too good at fighting and it attacks you.
I hate Caillou. God, I hope Caillou dies soon. This is to Fenrir Lycos from his mom requesting a toast. I met him down at Anime Matsuri. A good dude, a solid dude, working hard to be a good man in a world that hates good men. Fenrir, keep your chin up. Keep trucking, brother. Happy birthday.
Chin chin.
There you go. There you go. Oh my God. Okay, we've got super chats and I've got this box to open, and I'll pull up the story in just a minute, and we'll start looking at what's in the story, and then we can make our stupid speculations about it. Because I think I can't verify this to save anybody's life, but I think that an internet grifter may have had some small thing to do in Funimation going away. I think that might have happened. I don't know. I can't prove it, but I will take credit for it.
Possibly.
And you can all thank me for that. But we'll do these super chats that have come in, the early ones, and then we'll get into it a little bit more. Adrian Valladera says, can you do a brief skit in generic Soviet Russian voice where you, as Sony, send Funimation to Gulag? Much appreciated, Nick. God bless. Okay. All right, comrade. Come into office. I know. Office is in park. We don't have enough for building. It's okay.
But I was told that I'm just going to be getting some papers. I leave shortly, or
No,
Is something wrong?
you stay right there.
Okay.
Listen, we have men coming to pick you up, put you in helicopter, take you to
Well,
new location.
oh, okay,
Very scenic.
like a Disney World like location. I
No,
ride
no,
the
no, no,
water
no.
slide.
Much less complicated, little closer to nature.
Oh,
We
like a
call it
playground, right?
kind of lots
Okay,
of things
yeah.
to do.
Oh,
Repetitive activity like swinging back and forth, but instead of in swing with hammer.
oh, like when I play the whack-a-mole or at the Chuck E. Cheese. I'm going to Chuck E. Cheese's, aren't I?
We
Oh,
call it gulag.
I don't. There, hold on.
You'll
There's
like.
no C or H in there. Gulag. Hold on. I write this down. Gulag.
Not right
Um.
to spell, comrade. Listen, approved spelling is approved. Your spelling not approved. That is
Oh,
why gulag.
do I get to have my wife and family come with me?
Oh, if you want them to go to gulag, we will send them there as well.
Well, I
Most
wanted to.
people choose the solo package, to be honest.
Oh, why is that?
Let's just say it is more preferable for after gulag.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. I trust you implicitly, comrade. Yes. So I do. I need to bring anything?
No, you're fine. Helicopter landing right now. Please go.
Okay. I just get my drink then.
there you go. That was your $5 Russian skit. Andrew Clark says, oh, wait, I read that one. Richard Samuel Jordan says, I know Vic is a nice guy and doesn't want people to hate on Fat 1 and Fat 2, but they deserve every bad thing that happens to them. I hope the appeals come through and they go homeless. Well, I'm not here to argue with the chat today. Some days I do. Today I don't. But no, yeah. Well, I don't speak for Vic. I only speak for me. And what I will say is that people should only give their money to people that they want to give their money to.
Mhm.
And if you want to give your money to Fat 1 and Fat 2, you can. I will not stop you. In fact, I will actually encourage it. If you like their work, please support it. If you don't like their work, please do whatever you want to do, but please don't go bother them or hassle them in any way. Just want to make that clear. That has always been, no matter how much they have tried to make my opinion different, that has always been my opinion and my message about them. Vasho says, Steven Crowder had a drinking game tonight. Every time Biden stuttered, you take a drink/shot. I might be drunk on Russian vodka. That's not a good idea.
We got the live one in the chat, yes?
Not for long. Fenrir Lycos. Oh, he is here. Lycros. He says, Eric, can you say the crunk line, the poison for Cuzco, the poison chosen especially to kill Cuzco's poison, that poison.
Yeah, sure there. Yeah, you mean the poison. Cusco's poison. The poison specifically made for Cusco. The one's supposed to kill Cusco. That poison, right? My spinach puffs.
There you go. That is crunk. That is crunk. General Isimo says, this super chat is to celebrate Vic outliving Funimation. Awful folk. Ron must be thrilled though. Sorry, he just got done plowing Monica and now he can clean her so deeply that his tongue will magically become a real human. That's disgusting. Thank you for that. But we all know that so long as Ron is in a relationship with Monica, Ron is an incel. I'm convinced she doesn't let him near her. I'll give her that much credit.
Just has a cattle prod that she's just going to zip tied to her wrist or something.
You know, like those women that carry around like a little purse with a tiny dog in it. Monica's big, and so the purse just has to be big enough to fit a small human, like a child-sized male,
like a homunculus. If anybody catches the Full Metal Alchemist reference there.
You don't talk about my personal fucking fiance that way, Eric.
I'm coming for you.
Franco Miranda says, what up, Nick? I can't stay for too long, but I wanted to ask. I'm sure the chat has pointed this out. With the Funimation brand and name being phased out, how will this affect the lawsuit if Vic prevails on appeal? It will not have any major effect on the lawsuit. Funimation's obligations will be they're owned by Sony. I mean, whatever happens as far as that, like in a beautiful, wonderful world of justice, where Vic were to win on appeal and then go on to win through the court system after that, Sony would be on the hook for any damages that Funimation would have otherwise been responsible for. Whether or not that will happen obviously remains to be seen. We have no idea. No idea about that. But in case people are wondering, no Sony, and I don't think this would be the case at all anyway, but Sony would not be able to escape a legal obligation by folding Funimation or something like that. That's not going to happen. And I also think that there's a real chance that if the appeal were to come back in Vic's favor, that Sony might suddenly be added as a specific party. If I had to guess, I don't know. I would look at it that way. If I were Vic's attorney, I would consider strongly adding Sony in as a party to that lawsuit. But well, we'll see. Hippoopy says the coffee table problem is easily solved. Put the coffee table in storage for a while. I did that. Well, it's past the problem now. We don't have any 2-year-olds anymore. He also says they sell foam kits on Amazon. Put a shit ton of distractions such as toys on the floor around the coffee table. If you put toys near the coffee table, the kids will run for the toys and then launch themselves into the coffee table.
Yeah, just a bunch of RC cars all over the place that they've got wheels they can slide and crash into. Yeah.
No, I mean it happened one time. That was it. That was 4 years ago at Christmas time, and it was a good stressful Christmas, but everything was okay. She's all good now. Red Rum says, "Can I get a toast to my deceased brother ML? He was living on rebel-occupied Endor with his fat-tittied Ewok wife and their 18 mongrel children when they vaporized the family during a peacekeeping operation." Thanks.
Oh, ML. Oh, no.
To ML.
And all the blue milk you'll never get to drink.
Living the dream with your fat-tittied Ewok wife and bunch of mongroloid children running around causing you aneurysms and ulcers all day, doing the good Lord's work right up until the end when you turned into vapor. Cheers.
I've heard that there is what is it? It's Planck's constant. You know what Planck's constant is?
Yeah. It's the smallest amount of measurement that exists.
Yeah, and after that, numbers matter. It loses what's called locality. So for anybody watching in the chat, so for something to get vaporized to that degree, you instantly become assimilated into the entire universe all at once. So ML, I guess he's a part of us just as much as we are a part of him now.
And remember that the next time you're rubbing one out, that he's right there with you. Did I should have
God,
told you.
Jesus, they're all watching you.
I did say that this was a stream about anime and degeneracy, so I do apologize for that in not in advance. This is a latent apology, not a patent apology.
He's a poet and he didn't even know it.
Frederick Little says, Eric, out of all the anime characters you've done voices for, which one is your all-time favorite?
Kendo Rappa, My Hero Academia.
Also, question for both of you. What's your favorite anime series, if you have one, that is?
Fooly Cooly, the first season.
Okay, you're going to do that. All right. Let's see. It's my favorite anime series, if I have one.
It's JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, isn't it?
No, that series is entirely too gay for me. Okay. I've only seen one episode of this season because I was never able to find the second, but it still is my go-to favorite anime series. It was Ninja Resurrection, which was billed as a sequel to Ninja Scroll, although it was not in any way a sequel to Ninja Scroll. And it had the Antichrist coming out of a guy chopping off his own finger, which then squirted along the ground until it climbed up a woman's leg and into her vagina and then bred the Antichrist out of her.
What?
This was one of the most wild fucking animes I've ever seen. And it had a Miyamoto Musashi as like a short old man just murdering the shit out of ninjas everywhere. This thing was crazy. And I never saw the episode 2. And I was like, there's like a Christian crusade that's going on in this thing. Everybody, there's crosses and full plate mail armor in Japan. There's a giant like demon dragon thing. This is an awesome.
There's a lot going on
show.
there.
Yes. Guys, do you guys know about this? Is there another episode of this show? Because the first episode was, this all happens in like an hour. Like, oh my God, this is crazy.
Yeah,
sounds
I'd be
like
interested
Ninja
to check
Scroll.
this out too.
It was not. Ninja Scroll was Jubei Kipagami, and in this show, it was Jubei Yagyu, was his name. And he meets Miyamoto Musashi. None of the characters from Ninja Scroll are in it, but it was like in the American release, it was like billed as a sequel to Ninja Scroll, but there's like no references to it or anything like that, other than the main character's name was Jubei. I don't think it was an OVA. There were 2 episodes. Is that someone says?
There were only 2 episodes?
It was so cool.
You know, honestly, it doesn't sound like it's too far off from what they did with the show Basilisk, because they had a really awesome first season of that. And then the second season, there wasn't hardly any reference at all to the old season, save for you saw like similar, I guess, quirks, if you will, of these ninja clans popping back up, which harkened back to a bygone era.
Yeah, so the chat saying it was a 2-episode OVA. Is a 2-episode OVA. I would love if anybody has a link where I could watch the second one very legally. I would love to do so, because I always wanted to know what happened with that story, because it was wild. Like Satan was ripping people apart with his hair. Like his hair would wrap around people and then straighten and shred them into mist. It was cool.
Oh, it's like the barbed wire in the Silent Hill live action movie.
Yeah, it was good. I liked that. Super Iron Bob says, oh, I guess that's not a series then. Just two anime things. I mean, Bebop was so good, but it's like cheap to say, and I think it's unfair. So I'll just say I love Outlaw Star.
Good choice. Yeah. It was an excellent show.
Really do like Outlaw Star. Thank you, NFF Twitter, for the High Seas streaming version. High Seas sounds like a legit licensing company. I'll look into them. Super Iron Bob says Crunchyroll social media manager and social media and translators do that. Okay, so they must be engaged in the same sort of thing that Funimation is. And again, I'm not going to dispute that. I fully believe it's happening. I'm just saying I never saw it in the same way that I saw it from Funimation. And with that, well, we'll get to it. There's a couple more to read, and then we'll get into that, because I have some theories. Cody Byer, in the early days of Anime Outsiders. Hey, what's up, Cody? How you doing? By the way, chat, if you hate the Vic content, if you're like, fucking hate this when this idiot talks about anime, Cody is the reason that all of this happened. It's his fault. He's the guy who gave me the information to reach out and contact Vic. He's the guy who did it. And so blame him. Send all of your hate that way. And also, if his Cloud Scratchers Indiegogo or whatever is still up, make sure you go and check it out. He says, in the early days of Anime Outsiders, we were often sounding the alarm to what Funimation was turning into, even back when the fandom was still simping for them. We were hoping they'd fix their shit, but I guess this is the next best thing. Damn. Dark Strange Nico 17. Hi, Eric. Love your Peter Griffin impression. Peter Griffin.
Thanks a lot there, guy. Appreciate it.
Also, would you be a guest in my university's anime club in our Discord server someday? Love your work and hope you're doing well.
Sure. Hit me up. Hit me up on Twitter. Send me a DM. That'd be awesome.
There you go. Dark Strange Nico 17. Sounds alluring and odd.
Dark Strange Nico.
Yeah, go ahead and DM him there on Twitter. It's Eric Rolon. Very hard to find Twitter.
Yeah.
Are you verified on Twitter?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I thought about, like, what if I just like copied one of those little emoji blue check marks from one of these weird sites and put it in there. But then I hear people get their accounts totally banned for that.
Yeah, you can get in a lot of trouble for that. I love it. So even after the Rittenhouse stuff, I could not. I did the verification application and never even got a response, not even a rejection. They just
Seriously.
never did anything. And it's like I met all the criteria. Like you have to have articles written about you from
Yeah.
major publications, and I did because of the whole like shutting down of the like when YouTube shut down all the streams. So
Sure.
I mentioned in several publications and all this stuff, and I sent them all in, and I'm like, I'm just expecting them to deny me, but they just never answered. And I was like, oh,
Interesting.
that's worse.
It's weird because for when I actually looked at the little form, I didn't fill it all out because for whatever reason I didn't have the app, like the button wasn't highlighted for me to actually click on, but it showed what all I had to send in. And for somebody in entertainment as I am, you had to link them to your IMDb. You had to have a certain amount of credits. You had to either, I don't think you had to be a union entertainer, but there was several other things that had to do specifically with just your acting, or if you did modeling, like what you modeled on. It's really interesting that that changes.
OnlyFans. That's where I
Yeah.
do all my modeling. I do it on OnlyFans.
Oh yeah, I gotta get inside there. This is where I go, and I just get like a lot of paraffin. For those who don't know or want to scout growing up, paraffin is wax. It's nothing but this one toe. I've got no nail on it. I just pour wax on that. People go crazy.
That's disgusting. Thank you. Yeah, I know Viva got verified in like a day. I don't understand. What is that Canadian weirdo got that I don't got? Huh? Twitter? Is it because all the times they called Jack Dorsey gay or a pedophile, or that he likes child pornography and supports it? Because he does. He did and does. Twitter is the, I think, second largest purveyor of child pornography on the planet after Facebook. Jack Dorsey could fix this, but he can't anymore because he's not the CEO, but he could have fixed it and he chose not to. And when confronted with the problem, rather than admitting their mistake to the victim and owning up to that, they decided to fight it in court and pretend like the underage victim whose child pornography they advertised on was not actually a victim and not Facebook, not
And
Twitter's fault.
it's still up too, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken.
No, I think it was taken down after a police officer eventually served an order to Twitter to take it down. I'm sure it's been re-uploaded to Twitter several times, but the specific posts that they had reported were not taken down until police intervention. Mind you, if you call someone, well, like me, I called someone a mutant and was permanently suspended from Twitter forever in less than 2 hours after that happened. Once that happened, 2 hour, but for this family with actual child pornography being put out about their kid, they were not able to get a post taken down. I think it was 9 days that it took. So, so Jack Dorsey likes pictures of naked kids. That's all I'm saying. That's all I said. I don't know why I can't get verified on Twitter though.
Yeah, old hipster Rasputin.
The only reason I want to be verified on Twitter is because when you have the blue check mark, you get a special DM pane, like with blue check mark notifications only. So it filters out everything else. So once you have a blue check mark, you can reach out to another one on Twitter and they'll see it.
Oh, that's cool.
Rather than like having to get someone that they know to like do a warm intro. Like it's amazing for contact and setting up guests.
Sure,
right?
Expedited.
Mainly because I want to ask AOC if she'll eat corn on the cob on my stream.
Hey, she can come onto my little stream where I do the wax with the toe, just get her face down in there. It'll sell like hotcakes.
Waxing her face would be an improvement. Just saying that. Olron1 says, astounding to me how many people can claim that Monica and Jamie's flippant attitude in their podcast is how they express their grief when they're taking such obvious glee in what they're saying. Well, you notice what didn't happen. They just haven't been able to get around and find the time to make an episode 2 of their podcast. It's been well over a month of time has elapsed since the first episode. They just can't get around to it. Kind of like Monica and Ron getting married. They just could never bring themselves to actually pull the trigger on that one. So it's, I'm wondering what their metrics and numbers were on that. It's
kind of like Prince Harry and Meghan with their Spotify deal, and they're making well over $100,000 per minute of content.
Wait, they have a Spotify deal? Oh, I read about that. And they haven't, are they
For
just not making anything?
millions. No, they did one little 35-minute thing sometime I think over a year ago now, and then no other content. I think that's why so many of their little deals that they've tried to procure, the people on the other side of the table are going, don't know about
If
this.
they had, I don't know what the Spotify contracts look like. I would love to look at one, but I would wager that there's some minimum amount of content that they
Oh
had
yeah,
to make put in there. And so they're probably they probably have a contract in some naked sense, but I bet it's, performance on payment is probably not actually forthcoming, if I had to guess.
yeah,
Because you have to be worried that when you sign an exclusivity deal of some sort, that the person will either stop making content or die. And what, you're gonna have to pay their estate
right.
$100 million for stuff that never happened.
Yeah.
Um,
To my knowledge, it was the one episode that they did. There was something that was inside their contract where they were paid per minute of content for that, and then beyond that, it was like, hey, here's X amount, because it
yeah,
was it was for millions. That's what the reports have said. But then after that first episode, it's like, okay, cool. So here's pretty much the guaranteed chunk. We're expecting regular content from you guys, engaging things, really drawing the fans, and just crickets.
yeah. Well, the problem with it's Harry, right? Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Yep.
Yeah, the problem with Prince Harry is he likes to watch, is what I've heard. So he needs someone
Uh,
else to make a podcast with his wife.
I think that would probably do it. I really enjoyed the cover of him on that magazine, standing behind her. Just like it looked like he was kind of pulling his face away. He was afraid he was going to catch a quick backhand.
Yeah, yeah. Toyman 99X. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? You're not banned. See? I didn't think you were, but I've verified it now. You're not. I don't know how you would have been, but you're not. He says you saw the whole show if it was an hour long. I don't know how long it actually was that I watched. I just remembered seeing it. But yeah. What I was saying is Prince Harry's a cuck. I hope I got that. Just
It
in
came
case anybody
across.
missed the joke. We gotta sometimes you gotta take the sledgehammer and slam the nail down into the ground. And that's what we're doing with that joke. Andrew War Snowboard says, just got to the gym. I'm back at almost 175 pounds, which is 7 pounds heavier than I was since I
Yes.
lost weight when I had COVID. Please fat shame me. Also, Ilium is great so far. I know Ilium is great so far because I don't care where you are in the book. It's great. Also, you are fat and disgusting, and I'm surprised you could even waddle your ass through the door of the gym. Did you have to grease the door frame so you could slip yourself through? Did someone throw a Snickers bar in? Fatty, make you follow through that doorway into somehow hoping maybe someone just tricked you. They're like, actually, on the other side of this is an entire tub of butter that you could put down your gullet, you fat, disgusting mongroloid. Have fun with your workout, buddy. You did it. See, Goody says, can I get a toast for my mom? She got the coof. She might as well be dead already.
Oh gosh, that's abysmal.
To see Goody's mom, I hope that you have a wonderful recovery. I'm rooting for you. And I further hope that maybe the coof transfers to see Goody, because he is the only thing that you did wrong in your entire life. I'm just kidding. We love See Goody here. See Goody, genuinely, I hope your mom gets better and everything is okay. Cheers, brother.
Chin chin.
Hippoopy says, we did the toy thing around our raised hearth. It worked fabulously. Kids would head for the fireplace and get distracted by toys.
Ooh, something shiny.
I guess. Shin-chan 256B says, great answer. Footy Cootie was great. Coming of age story for me whenever I was a kid. It was so good. I got a tattoo of it. Well,
Very
Nick,
good.
Nick is lying, though. His favorite anime is Tokyo Godfathers. You are this man. You're staying a mod forever. You will never not be a mod. You'll never be heterosexual again, ever. Did you know, Eric? I don't know if you know this, but in chat, mods are gay.
Okay. All of them.
That's a
Just rule of thumb.
yeah.
Okay.
All mods, all the time.
All mods. Gay.
So
Good to
that
know.
is you're staying a mod forever. Waterworld is also the best Costner film.
I like Mr. Barnes.
Mr. Barnes?
Yeah. Isn't that Mr. Barnes? Where he's the serial killer? You seen that one?
I haven't seen that.
Oh man. I want to say it's Mr. Barnes. You got to look it up. He's like this Dexter-esque meticulous serial killer. Always leaves a bloody thumbprint wherever, he does his
Mr.
deed.
Brooks?
Mr. Brooks. Sorry, that's what it is. Mr. Brooks.
I have seen Mr. Brooks.
Okay, never mind then. You've seen the movie.
I don't remember it though.
Oh, well, watch
Tell
it
me
again.
more.
Yeah,
Tell me more. Leaves a bloody thumbprint.
Leaves a bloody thumbprint. It's got Demi Moore, who I used to have such a crush on. I thought she was gorgeous. She still is keeping up very well.
I thought Striptease was a letdown. I'm just gonna say.
Well, I
Not
mean,
enough
it was for
Demi
me because I
Moore.
saw it on TNT. So
I wanted Demi Moore.
Oh, I personally liked when that one guy walks up, like just the forwardness of this dude inside the bar walks up. He's like, "Hey, sweetheart, nice legs." It just reaches for him. Like, wow, you didn't even discuss the 3-song minimum. You didn't discuss if there was a touching clause, no touching clause. There's no private room. Just you're here on your lunch hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dane Cook plays.
Look, I work at the local mechanic. I got 35 minutes.
Yeah, I'm having a liquid lunch, sister. We're gonna do this or not. I don't work for $20 a week to make $215 so I can just blow it on a claw machine at Walmart. That's wasteful. Not easy for me to kiss and tuck in some strippers G-string.
Exactly. Yeah, Mr. Brooks though. Sorry. Demi Moore's in it. Kevin Costner, serial killer who's meticulous and leaves a bloody thumbprint everywhere he goes.
Oh, Dane Cook is in it as well, actually.
Well, that was a downside to it.
Well, it's good because he wets himself actually in the movie and not on stage. It's really entertaining and it's cool because you have the whole split personality thing going on there. It's kind of got this Fight Club theme. It's nice.
Mr. Lulzbot may have it correct. Tin Cup is the best Kevin Costner movie. Tin Cup is a great movie. He's the golfer, Roy McAvoy. And he's a professional golfer at like a driving range in the middle of West Texas because he's washed up. And he goes to play in the Masters. And it's all around good, wholesome, quality entertainment. But he lost his clubs. Well, he broke all of his clubs.
Oh,
because the only one he could hit was a 7-iron. So he snapped them all over his knee. And then he parred in the back 9 with a 7-iron. But then he had to, he was going to go play in the Masters. So he had to get some clubs. So he went to the golf course with like a bunch of garden tools and challenged the guy, bet the clubs. He won.
No, great. What, just won with the 7-iron?
No, he had like a shovel, and so he like throws the ball,
spade,
hits it with a shovel. It's fun. It's a good movie, and they go like they're at a Waffle House, and the woman, of course, is like, "Can't we eat somewhere nicer?" And one of the guys like, "I've been dreaming about a Waffle House for the past 1,800 miles."
Who wrote this? Judd Apatow?
Oh, it's great. No, it's a good movie, not a Judd Apatow movie. It's good.
Tin Cup. When I think of Tin Cup, all I think of largely is Chronicles of Riddick, where he's got his little teacup there, and the guy makes a crack about the coffee, and he just, "Teacup, I'm gonna kill you with my teacup."
Yes, which is a great scene. Then when he takes the key and he puts it down on the table, and the next guy's like, "I'm out of here." That was good. No, Tin Cup's good flick. People are bringing up some really, really good ones. They've got Robin Hood Dances with Wolves, Open Range, great movie.
Wyatt Earp was good.
Way too long. The Untouchables, of course.
Oh yeah, Sean Connery. Sean Connery.
Costner's got some good ones under his belt. Most of them are too long, though.
Oh, I remember the first movie that I saw actually that came on 2 VHSs back in the day was his movie JFK. That is a long long movie. You got to really be invested in that one.
I wonder if he's the A-lister with the longest average movie length of anything. Oh, the reason this is coming up is because on April 2nd, I'm going to go meet Kevin Costner.
Dude, where at?
Down in Tyler, Texas. So, yeah, he's going to be speaking at UT Tyler, I think, or one of the schools in Tyler. It might be UT. It's like one of their big anniversary events. So they booked Kevin Costner to come speak. But speaking of which, to go to my theory that Kevin Costner has the longest average film length of any A-lister, he was a voice uncredited in Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is the longest movie in history. And also the least advised, because who wants 4 hours of Zack Snyder? Nobody does. But yeah.
I liked Watchmen. It's all right.
I liked Watchmen. I just don't. Zack Snyder's just very pretentious to me. I don't know. Field of Dreams, of course, is great.
That was good. Oh, James Earl Jones in there.
When James Earl Jones pulls out the pesticide spray, he's like, "Go back to the 60s." I lost it. That's like the funniest scene to me. It's like, "Get away, hippies." God, I love that. Oh, God, jeez. That's a good movie right there. Yeah, The Bodyguard, JFK, Dances. Listen to in a row. Dances with Wolves, Robin Hood, JFK, The Bodyguard. Though that's a lineup of movies that Kevin Costner did. Two of those in the same year, JFK and Robin Hood. God.
His Robin Hood was awesome. That was, I remember I always wanted to try it, pulling the feather out the back of one of the arrows and shooting it so it would twirl. I mentioned that to, back when I was actually in the Scouts, I mentioned that to one of my Scout leaders, because we would frequently do archery. And I'm like, yeah, it was really cool. It twirled like horse. He says, oh, I wouldn't recommend doing that whatsoever. You might kill somebody with that. I'm like, really? He says, oh, yeah, that'll make a right angle turn real fast. I'm like, oh, well, darn it. You mean I can't trust everything I see in the movies?
He also only has 64 credits on IMDb. That's not a lot for a career that is Kevin Costner sized.
No, not at all.
Only,
you could go
only 64 acting credits.
What? No.
That's it.
He did a hell of a job also in Hatfield and McCoy's, but it was just like him, I don't know. It was just like every ounce of grit that he played as Wyatt Earp, he just turned it up even higher for that little short series. Jenna Malone was in that too.
How mad would Costner be if you handed him a piece of mail to deliver? I'll just ask him if I throw a silk scarf in the air, if his katana will slice it in half when it lands. This is the shittiest part of The Bodyguard. It's like, that's not how that works. The man with no name says, I keep getting you have a great voice that would be great for radio at least once a day for the past 2 years. Where can I take this, fellow voice actors? I hate to say this, buddy, but that's them saying you're ugly.
Wait, did they say voice for radio or face for radio?
Is it a voice that would be great for radio? I don't know.
There's always puppetry at the assisted living homes.
ASO says Prince Harry is probably friends with Jack Murphy. Undoubtedly. John Jones. Probably not John Bones Jones, but hiring lawyer to file hostile work environment claim against diversity department. Looks pretty textbook to me. I'm recording our hours-long SJW struggle sessions on my own device. Other minorities fear retaliation. Wish me luck.
Get them.
Get
them.
Fight back against this other stuff, man. Fight back. That's great. If you have the means to do it and the opportunity, I commend you and wish you nothing but the best. Okay. Billy Badass says, no, it doesn't mean that, you mook. Billy Badass, you have a wonderful voice for radio.
Billy Badass.
Okay, let's talk about this. Let me pull up this stupid article.
Let's get into it.
Now that we're an hour into the show, it is the perfect time to actually start it. That's how I do things.
Greased the wheels of progress, as it were.
By the way, I see the quartering lurking in the chat, pretending like he's not here. You know you love this show. You know you can't. You know you can't get away.
Oh yeah. I hear him mention you every now and then in a stream. I'm like, oh, that's all. Nick has another friend, and that's
No,
special.
it's not true.
Oh.
It's not true. This is from Variety magazine. So this is not from the vaunted pages of Anime News Network. So I don't know if I can actually trust it. But this is here. We've got Crunchyroll is adding all Funimation anime content. Sony starts to phase out Funimation brand. Sony is effectively merging its two anime streaming services, announcing that Crunchyroll subscribers will have access to library and simulcast content previously available exclusively on Funimation starting today. Well, yesterday, March 1st. The move brings more than 1,600 hours from more than 50 newly added titles in Funimation's lineup to Crunchyroll. While Sony said it won't be raising prices on Crunchyroll's packages for now, the company said future new series will be exclusive to Crunchyroll starting April 1st. And Funimation will only continue to add new episodes of current series. That means they're going to be exercising current contracts. That's why they're going to add existing series, is because those people contracted to have their series put on Funimation services. And this is one way they can navigate it. But they've added value already to those contracts by moving them to Crunchyroll as well. So,
oh yeah, it's definitely a win-win for fans for sure.
Crunchyroll released a list of the Funimation titles available now, with more to be added over time. Sony's Funimation Global Group bought Crunchyroll for $1.175 billion in cash from AT&T, a deal that closed in August of 2021, bringing together TO former rivals. Good editing there, guys. Under Sony's ownership, the anime division has now been redubbed Crunchyroll LLC, operated as a joint venture between Sony Pictures Entertainment and Aniplex, a subsidiary of Sony Music Entertainment Japan. Let's see. So it went from Sony Funimation Global Group is now called Crunchyroll LLC.
Isn't
so
that
like
interesting?
that is how thoroughly they're like the Sony's Funimation Global Group was that's an unimportant name of a back office company. It's just a paper company that exists, right? To be a subsidiary of Sony. And so they're renaming that as Crunchyroll LLC, meaning they're going to fold the Funimation Global Group, I would assume. It was used for the acquisition. Now it's all going to be managed under Crunchyroll.
Okay,
which
so that makes more sense
wild.
now. Because I was wondering when I read that line, a subsidiary of Sony Music Entertainment Japan, I'm like, wait, so that makes now a whole lot more sense. A corporation on paper that they're like, hey, here's a throwaway name so we can just collapse this into.
Yeah, well, I mean, you make a company to facilitate the purchase or acquisition of another company, just in case something goes south with that deal, and then you can minimize losses and exposure to the parent companies and stuff like that. So
Gotcha.
you can set up when you have a giant corporation like Sony with unlimited resources, and unlimited time and lawyers' time, you can go ahead and do stuff like this to make sure you insulate everything that you're doing. Once the deal goes through, you don't need to have Funimation Global Group anymore. You can just bring all of the anime assets into Crunchyroll LLC. You can do whatever the hell you want with the previous company. It can just go by the wayside, drop the registration, so you don't re-register it next year and it goes away. No assets left. Who cares? So that's amazing. Sony said merging Funimation content into Crunchyroll will create a huge benefit for new and existing subscribers who will no longer have to pay for two services. Crunchyroll's pricing of ad-free subscription plans remains unchanged. $7.99 a month for fan tier, $9.90 a month for mega fan, and $14.99 a month for ultimate fan. As of March 1st, Crunchyroll offers over 40,000 sub and dub episodes. Crunchyroll app is available on more than 15 platforms, including all gaming consoles. When we bought Funimation and Crunchyroll together last year, our top priority was to put fans first. Crunchyroll CEO gets to be the speaker. They don't have Jen Fukunawa.
That's interesting. Well, yeah, Gen, to my knowledge, Gen is gone.
Oh,
Again,
he's still I think he's still 5 or 10% shareholder of Funimation, or he
okay.
was.
I guess
Um,
decision making share, but that's weird. They mentioned last year because I didn't see anything about this whatsoever last year, unless it was as recent as say December or November.
well, August is when they made the acquisition of Crunchyroll, when that was finalized.
So
I
then,
do remember. I remember the seeing that pop up, the headline pop up that Sony was buying Crunchyroll.
so then why go through the hassle of marking the new building Funimation, as it were, if they had planned on doing this for, gosh, August, September, October, November, December, 8 months? I don't understand that. It seems like a waste of money to me and man hours.
We'll talk about it in a second. We'll finish up this article here. Crunchyroll CEO Colin Decker said in a statement, unifying all our brands and services under the Crunchyroll brand globally enables us to offer more value than ever before as we combine subs, dubs, simulcast, library, music, movies, manga, all into one subscription. In addition to consolidating of 2 streaming services, Sony-owned Funimation Global Group will now operate as Crunchyroll LLC and has initiated rebranding across its global footprint. Founded in 2006, Crunchyroll had become part of Warner Media after AT&T bought out Sharon Group's majority stake in Otter Media in 2018. In 2017, Sony Pictures Television had acquired a controlling stake in Funimation, which was founded in 1994. So there you go. That's the story. But we do have complete rebranding, all under Crunchyroll's name. So Funimation is gone, and I think there's 2 parts to this. Personally, I think the Funimation brand is toxic on 2 fronts. And the first one is the front of customer facing that we talked about earlier. And I think
I'd have to agree there, yeah.
I think the Vic thing really isolated thousands and thousands of paying subscribers. And I think they saw a significant hit in their subscription revenue because of the Funimation brand.
Yep.
And I think maybe they hoped that it would come back a little bit sooner, and it was not coming back in the way they anticipated. And so I think they had that issue. The other place, and this is anecdotal, both of these are anecdotal, these are just opinions, but I believe that Funimation has a bad reputation in Japan, for a couple reasons. Funimation was always late to bid because they had kind of the controlling, I guess, interest in the United States for a long time on acquiring anime. They were the big dog, and they waited. In fact, Attack on Titan season 4 was a monumental amount of time, which, I mean, they should have signed the contract for season 4 once the ink on season 3's contract was dry.
Yeah.
Right. Because Attack on Titan season 4 was going to be huge. Theoretically, someone could have come in and scooped up Attack on Titan season 4, and no one did. That's how broken the US dubbing industry actually is that no one picked up that obvious cash maker. But that being said, so what they would do is they would wait out, let the price bid down, and then bid low and grab it. But they wouldn't grab complete rights to shows. They would grab just the dubbing licensing rights. And if you notice the toys that are associated with anime, they might have a co-branding of Funimation, but none of them are Funimation products. Funimation does not own a toy factory. They would always license them to Bandai or some other toy company, or Hasbro. Hasbro, I think, owns the American branch of Bandai or whatever it is. But it was always someone else, and they might get you might get a Funimation on the label. You might not. That's because they rarely bought the merchandising rights to these productions. And so there's a lot of money that Japan is leaving on the table licensing anime out to Funimation. I think that name has become tainted on the back end as well as on the front end. And so now Sony, being Japanese and understanding maybe what's going on, has how Japanese businesses operate, has decided. I mean, look at what they say about what they're talking about doing. So subs, dubs, simulcasts, library, music, movies, manga, all in one subscription. So they're bringing more production into this. More licenses being purchased from the studios over in Japan are going to be more of those licenses are going to come into the American markets through one source rather than forcing these companies to buy piecemeal. Then the other thing that's got to happen is they've got to get these anime onto Netflix, in my opinion. But
yeah, that is an area that they need to absolutely storm. And you're you're absolutely right with based on the fact that Sony is, we have a Japanese based company there, and traditionally they've they've been okay, going back to like the era of like the Mad Men. I don't know if you've seen the show Mad Men with John Hamm. It's my favorite live action show of all time. But inside there, they're always depicted as being very, very much business minded, and there's still even an air of honor that goes into the business mindedness of them with every single little facet of what they take on. So it wouldn't surprise me if they looked at this grand social experiment that is Twitter and Facebook and Reddit and Tumblr and all that, and saw a bunch of people clowning around on there and saying, okay, this here is a bad look for us. This here casts aspersions on our name, and acquiring this name here that's going to come with all the dirt still clinging to it. So it does make sense, and it seems to be at least in their interest to wipe that name out, clean slated, as it were. It's like when somebody goes away, and they've left a wake of destruction in their path, and they fade out of existence for a while. They let the heat die down, then come back, and people say, oh, don't call it a comeback, but there's always a rebranding of sorts that does happen with that.
yeah,
It's now the big question is, okay, so if the bad faith individuals before were given to this kind of behavior that really made things turn sour and made half the fan base go, oof, I want nothing to do with this anymore, they've ruined this art form for me, do you now start including inside contracts, hey, not only do you have a non-disclosure clause, but we are going to police the way you carry yourself on social media if it's going to be something that can be taken in by anybody. Like on Twitter, you can't just say, hey, only friends can see my content. You can do only people I select can comment, but that's out there in digital ink. And if you want to erase it, somebody's already screen captured it and it's uploaded a zillion times over.
Well, I think Funimation already had a social media policy in place. However, that social media policy, as far as I can tell, was largely limited to the non-disclosure,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
You can't say that we're working on a current anime because they would often start working on an anime prior to the contracts being finalized. And so saying that they were working on an anime would be a problem if the contract wasn't actually written out. And some people did get in trouble for accidentally slipping up from time to time. I remember that being part of either filings or affidavits or some statements that were made in the Vic case.
Well, and even with that, you have to have, like, when it even comes down to being able to announce, like, you see people all the time inside the Funimation community and online and gaming and whatnot. If something does come out, you have to have approval to even announce, hey, I get to play such and such. Like Tiny Tina's Wonderland is coming out in March. And I got the go ahead yesterday to be able to announce that I play this character, Dragonar, the dragon god. And it was like,
who's doing that anime?
It's not an anime. It's a video game. It's done by Gearbox.
By who?
Gearbox.
Gearbox. Oh, okay. Gearbox Studios. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome. But like even with that, I had to sign an NDA disclosure for that, and that was recorded months and months and months and months ago. And yeah, it's hard to sit on that sometimes because you're like, oh, I just want to tell somebody.
Yeah.
But save for my cats and my wife, nobody else knew about that until I was finally given the go ahead.
Right. And so that's there. So I know Funimation already had a social media policy in place, but when you start to look into the leadership at Funimation, the decision makers there, and you realize that the people that are left at Funimation are there because they agree with those decision makers. Their social media policy on the customer facing side, not on the NDA side, was inadequate, in my opinion.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
really needed to tamp down on that. So it's possible that Sony will implement some sort of policy like that if you're going to rebrand.
I would
That
expect them
makes
to.
sense.
Yeah, because
The
like
other, oh, go ahead.
it doesn't do to have loose cannons literally ripping your ship to pieces. You know, it's one thing when you have a couple of just non sequitur moments where it's like, oh, somebody got out of pocket, they got a little bit heated, maybe this show really meant so much to them and they got defensive about it. But it's another thing entirely when it becomes an everyday thing, multiple times over, when it's like everybody's so glued to their phones and glued to their social media, and then they get into these Twitter feuds with people online. It's like, oh my gosh, like we know that darn near nothing of any actual intellectual substance happens from a typed out conversation. You know, whereas like you and I are talking right now, we can see each other's body language, we can pick up on hints inside our tones, you know, we
You
can.
can't see anything happening under the green border, and I am
Yeah.
flipping you off constantly.
Yeah, you don't know that maybe I'm Han and I might shoot first, you know?
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Oh, can you hear this? Should I turn it up?
You thought it was my middle finger, but it wasn't. You judged me ahead of time. Very bad of you.
Only because you said so.
But no, it's that's right. And these people get addicted to Twitter and they get into Twitter spats, and I do it too. The difference between me and a lot of other people is I get to monetize it, which is great. But you get into these Twitter spats and you get invested in the argument in some way. Well, when someone does that and it's detrimental to a major brand, that's something that they have to worry about. And they have not done so up to this date. I think my theory is that Funimation has a twofold problem with the brand, and that is fan-facing toxicity and Japan-facing toxicity. And I'm sure the Japan-facing toxicity is a bigger problem for them, and that has nothing to do with the political stuff. Japan, from everything I've heard from everybody who deals with Japan, says they don't give a shit about what Americans do as far as political stuff.
Yep.
All they care about is, does the business make sense
Yep.
of this deal?
Are we
Can
still
you
putting up the
distribute,
numbers?
right? Can you distribute my anime and make it worth what we're doing here? And if you can do that, great. And right now, for a lot of shows, that means, can you get me on Netflix? And a lot of anime is waiting to come to the US for someone with Netflix distribution rights, because my understanding is that Netflix is paying $1 million an episode in licensing fees on some of these shows. And
wow.
so for a Japanese studio to get a $23 million deal on a season with on something that's already made, that's the key. It's already made. They're going to get $23 million to throw it on the screen. That's huge.
Oh yeah.
So that's what they're looking to do. Sony has the chops to put that out if they want to. Otherwise, you know, Sony also has the girth to build out the Crunchyroll app on as a standalone. But
easily so, especially since it's on already 15 plus platforms, and that includes all gaming platforms.
Right. And the big problem that Crunchyroll had, not that big of a problem, but the main thing that they had was the Funimation app was competing with them. Now that they've eliminated that, Crunchyroll becomes a viable single source alternative that could compete with Netflix. Sony is a big enough company to actually put up a fight with Netflix on that front. And again, now that they're not splitting an audience with Funimation, and when you're looking at from Japan's perspective, where do I want my product? Crunchyroll online, Funimation online, or Netflix online? Netflix was the top. I don't think Funimation was number 2.
I wouldn't think so. And here's a I don't know what time frame we'd be looking at for this, but here's a question for you. Say Sony, you know, they've put this whole thing together. Say this goes gangbusters, because I would venture to say that between Crunchyroll and Funimation, they probably have more content than all of Netflix does with their movies and the limited amount of anime that they have on
Yeah,
there.
that's just One Piece.
Yeah, and Detective Conan, but who's to say that in a few years this doesn't put Sony into an even higher position where they then acquire Netflix? Not that I know that Netflix would ever sell, but could you imagine then not just this anime conglomerate that it is now, plus the gaming side of things, plus all the entertainment, the TVs, everything? What if that all becomes umbrellaed under Netflix, and then they don't even have to worry um, about having to try and find somebody who's going to be able to put these Japanese shows into there? They get to say, "Hey, yeah, it goes in here."
Yeah, I think there would be a possibility of some sort of further merger on streaming services, or even Sony selling off Crunchyroll's library to Netflix
Oh my
specifically,
goodness.
or whatever. I would like to see it out of the hands of Sony. I would like to see it, but I don't want to see it in the hands of Netflix either, because
No.
they're
Netflix will
making trash.
wokeify it way too quickly. And I think that's what a lot of people wonder about too, is does this merger okay, first off, what kind of stipulations come with a merger between Crunchyroll plus Funimation? Because again, he was of a mind to say we're not going to re-up with our continued merger with them because of X, Y, and Z. There were certain things that were unrectifiable, certain things that either they couldn't lean on or they couldn't make happen for us. I'm guessing it was probably a mutual thing. But he saw the signs and went, yeah, no, we're done with this. It makes me wonder now, given that Sony had already acquired Funimation's streaming service back in 2017, and then they cut ties with Crunchyroll in 2018, what acquiescence must have taken place for them to say, okay, cool, we'll take on Crunchyroll? Um, was it like, hey, you have to go back and do this backlog of stuff? We need these all dubbed here. Hey, we've got some more racy shows that Funimation didn't want to touch because of too much skin or too much sexual themation inside of it, or a certain level of violence, or maybe it was a genre that just wasn't catching on. It's like, I wonder what all went into that deal, because something
I
had
think it
to have been
was
given.
I think it was pretty simple.
You think? Okay, maybe I'm making
I
it too complicated.
I think a Sony exec said, "Shut up." Like,
Shut up and
make the Chinese
take our
cartoons or what the
money.
fuck ever. Like, make the cartoons, you idiots. We're here to make money. That, like, look at Sony being as Sony is weird. Sony's heavy on the censorship in video games and stuff right now. But at the end of the day, I mean, Sony video content, Sony Pictures puts out a lot of stuff with all sorts of various stuff in it. You're going to have nudity, language, violence in all of these shows. And anime is it's just a slightly different medium, but it's still video media content. And so if Gen or whatever, Funimation had some chain of values, which is laughable when you look at a lot of their content, but if they had some chain of values that was preventing them from working with Crunchyroll, Sony comes in, buys up Funimation, and now says, we're going to buy Crunchyroll, and you idiots are going to just deal with it because they're the biggest competitor that we have outside of Netflix and Amazon. Obviously, we can't buy Netflix and Amazon, but we can buy the largest anime distributor outside of Netflix and Amazon. And we're going to do that. And we're going to become an anime powerhouse alternative to these two major conglomerates. And I don't care what issues you guys had in the past. By the way, your brand is gone.
Right? Goodness.
And I would still suggest, I mean, if I would be very surprised let me say this. I won't be very surprised to see who doesn't stay at Funimation or at Crunchyroll. Because when you have a merger like this, and I think it's very, very important and impactful and intentional that they had the CEO of Crunchyroll, Colin Decker. I think that they have him making the statement to Variety and not a Funimation executive making a statement about this. I think that matters, but maybe I'm crazy.
So. No, I think you're more on More
You
on
think I'm a
than
moron? Oh my
no,
god.
I think you're more on the money than most would believe. And goodness, it now makes me wonder. So, and you'd probably, I guess this would be an area of expertise probably for you. So this merger has happened. Now it's all under one umbrella. Does this now change the nature of how different streaming platforms, like you have Amazon with their Amazon Prime, you've got Hulu, you still have Netflix, you have even YouTube, you can watch shows on there as well, and whatever other premium streaming services there are. Does this now change the nature of their deal? Are there new deals that have to now be rebrokered because Sony has acquired Crunchyroll again? Or
I don't think so. When you acquire a company, you acquire their contracts, and so
okay.
they'll be there. The difference being they'll have to keep the Funimation streaming platform active through the end of whatever contracts they have to put stuff on the Funimation
Hmm.
streaming platform. But since they really license anime a season at a time, that's not going to be all that long that they have to preserve it. And
Yeah,
while they'll be simultaneously uploading it to Crunchyroll, because I'm sure that would be the main deal. Is
sure.
by the way, do you want us to load this up on Crunchyroll? And we have the rights to do it. We're just gonna because we purchased those when we bought Funimation, and but we're gonna upload them there. That'd be the only renegotiations that may need to take place. And
Gotcha.
I say it might be a courtesy call to them,
Sure.
because they own the Funimation distribution rights. So whatever distribution they're going to do, unless a company had worked in to the contract specifically that Funimation would not place it on any other service that Funimation owned or was was associated, which I don't think they would do. Unless they did that, then it's going to be kind of a pro forma thing. But I think they would call them and say, "Hey, we're going to start up," or they probably did. And said, "We're going to upload all this to our Crunchyroll service. We're going to begin phasing out the Funimation brand. We'll of course
Mhm.
honor the contract, but we want to make sure as our fans transition from the Funimation service to the Crunchyroll service that you understand that that service will be hosting your content
Sure.
and we'll be we'll be brokering or approaching you for the next season, or looking forward to working with you in the future." That's what I would assume. But without having seen the contracts, you can only
Yeah.
speculate. And I mean, who doesn't trust this guy? Who doesn't trust this guy?
Oh, yeah,
Colin Decker. This
I'd
is a
leave him
2019
alone with my son.
article.
Oh, yeah. He can take it from ice cream anytime, anytime.
This is the 2019 article about this. So this was when was this? Yeah, May 6th of 2019. Sony's Funimation taps ex Crunchyroll exec Colin Decker as GM. So they brought in an outside guy as far back as 2016. I remember when this happened too. There's a
Mhm.
lot of talk about it. But yeah,
So,
after Gen relinquished day-to-day management duties earlier this year,
um,
yeah, the 143 million was the stake of fund 95%. So I think that's where I got mixed up. That's what they paid, but the total stake was or the total value of the company was like 160 or something.
okay. So here's a question for you
Yeah.
then. Um, Given the nature of how things were that led up to this point, like you mentioned, the toxicity of so much of the goings on in that fan to creator sphere, do you think going forward here, because it has seemed for a while, at least in my estimation, that there's been a number of people, and this happens even in shows like for a while you had Charlie Sheen in Two and a Half Men, where it was like the guy could still he was getting away with doing whatever he wanted inside the public sphere, and they were just having to tolerate it. And it was like I could tell there was probably a whole lot of people behind the scenes who just wanted to let him go and just wanted to fire him, but it was like, no, he's such a big name, can we go through, is he replaceable? Do you think inside the future now here, because it has seemed to me like there's been a number of people playing these legacy characters who, for all intents and purposes, have failed at this experiment that is social media and have just descended into becoming these little rage filled monsters? except they keep getting brought back for their legacy characters because it's like, well, you know, so and so played them, and the fans are going to get mad if we don't have them again. I say all that to ask the question: do you think you'll see people become way more disposable now? Because I
I
do
think
too.
so.
I do
When
too.
you when you so Funimation was a cottage shop. It was a cottage shop. That's why it's worth 160 million when it was sold.
Hmm.
And you look at a place like Crunchyroll worth a whole lot more money.
Hmm.
But
At least 10 times as much.
right. And you look at Sony, which makes the Funimation operation look ridiculous, but it was a cottage shop, and they had their little niche industry, and it was very nepotistic, and it was close knit, and that has advantages and disadvantages to it. The disadvantage to it is those people are expensive after a while, and they get attitudes. That's the other problem. If
Yep.
they get this idea that they're somehow important, but
Hmm.
I mean, just when you think about it, they already weren't. That was I would say that's a perspective that they built themselves, but anime has changed hands quite a bit. Voices have changed, and the average fan doesn't care. And to point out that Monica Rial is the fourth Bulma. She's the fourth one. And no one cared that there were three Bulmas before Monica Rial.
Yep.
They either whichever one they liked, maybe, if they even noticed.
Yep. Just tell
But
me the story.
yeah, well, one, just tell me the story, and two, the follow-up person is going to be building on the idea of the other person, so they're going to be trying to imitate in some way their voice
Hmm.
and mannerisms, because you want some consistency going through.
Yep.
And your face isn't on camera, so it's not as
Yes.
jarring as in a sitcom or something like that, or like in Spartacus when the guy dies and he gets replaced by
Yeah.
new Spartacus.
Andy Whitfield.
uh right. You don't have that issue. So are they replaceable? Absolutely. And look at the comics industry. And I hate to be the bearer of foreboding news for the Western dubbing industry, but
Oh,
the
break my heart.
comic book industry started hiring just random people on DeviantArt because it was cheap. It's cheap. And what are they doing? They're imitating someone else's creation. They're not creating something new.
Yep.
So
It's
why
all
bother?
derivative.
Why pay top dollar? To me, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy, but guys like Sean Schemmel, who, I mean, he's expensive to voice Dragon Ball, but what are they why would you pay him? I mean, it's your voice. Anybody, like, not anybody can do it. I'm not trying to downplay your craft or
Yeah.
anything. There's certainly a talent to it, but there are a lot of people who can do voice work. They
Oh,
can.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
And
And
with a good ADR director, they can do it very competently.
absolutely. And like largely, like as you're alluding to there, it's because there's such a wealth of already established content that they can go back to and go, oh, okay, cool. So that was what he did there, and that's what she did there. Okay, cool. We're just doing that. You know, pitch it up, pitch it down, and then they can auto tune you to where you need to be. Um,
I can
so
auto tune you.
oh, can
That's
you?
that's how bad it is. Yeah. Did you not know? I can auto tune.
What is that? Wait, am I auto tune right now? Oh,
Nope,
wait.
just me.
Oh, just you.
Sucks to be
Oh,
you.
now I gotta get myself a separate little module to plug this thing into. But what you were mentioning though, on the on the topic of people wearing out their welcome, as it were, there's a number of reasons why you don't see some of the bigger ones who are a lot more boisterous and who are a lot more corrosive to the fan base online getting new roles and seemingly only ever playing those legacy characters, because I'm sure that on some level some of the higher ups in some of the companies that have been producing this content even before mergers or global takeovers were going, ooh, this is not looking so good for us. We're still stuck with them for these characters here, but right now they haven't been able to wear out their welcome. Well, a couple years back, I don't know if you caught wind of this, but there was a group that was based out of LA called CODA, and that stood for Coalition of Dubbing Actors.
Okay.
And
Sounds terrible already. I
it
like it.
it, it was terrible. Largely, it was put together in order to try and level the same kind of rates and force the same kind of payment for actors in a right to work state that we had seen over in LA. So
Mm.
it was it was pitched to me because I knew some people who knew a guy who knew this person who knew that I did some anime at one time. Well, I remember sitting down at a little just kind of info session and watching this PowerPoint presentation about Coda, who they were, what they did. The entire thing boiled down to there was this coalition of dubbing actors who were going to try and fight for higher rates. It's like, okay, I understand. It's a union of sorts. You know, there's insurance for a lot of things for people, especially if you're doing stunt work and you're on set, you get injured, there's a workman's comp aspect. To my knowledge, there wasn't really anything like that for somebody's voice. And a number of people who are inside the musical industry or who are in work like I do have had to have vocal nodes removed from their vocal cords, to fix their voice. Sometimes there's irreparable damage done to them, like that gal from Sound of Music. But anyway, this whole thing, it was cooked up in LA, and they had this petition. A bunch of big time actors and actresses were on it. People from Funimation signed on to it. People from Bang Zoom were all over it. I want to say it was probably concocted there at Bang Zoom. But
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting there at this meeting, and something got thrown across the table to us that did not sit well with me. And it was with regards to the whole simuldub scheduling that we had here, and how they were going to go about trying to pitch this higher rates or we walk idea inside a right to work state. Because here inside Texas, like it's by no mistake that Funimation is here in Texas. It's by no mistake that Sentai was here in Texas. It's by no mistake that we have down in Houston another anime purveyor. It's because this is a right to work state. So instead
Right.
of them having to meet union standards for voice work, which in some cases, like I could go into I've done gigs before where I walk in for 5 minutes, do a voiceover, and I just made $1,250. Like, because I have a certain scale that I am paid for certain things, especially what market it goes, whether it's local, regional,
We
state,
just found out
national.
what your porn dubbing is. That's amazing.
Right. So anyway, um the whole thing that was thrown to us was, okay, so we want to try and we're going to demand a higher rate for these shows and for the time that we're working in. Not only are we going to demand a higher rate for the hour, but also if we work on multiple properties within that hour, we're going to demand a rate for those other properties. Even if we just do 5 minutes here or 5 minutes there, if it's still within our allotted hours worth of time, we're going to stack that on. It's going to multiply. And so the entire meeting was, hey, just so you know, there's going to be this town hall of sorts where we're going to be getting people to sign on this petition with us. And we're either going to, one, present this to the higher ups at Funimation. And if they go with us, then hey, we've won, we get higher rates for everybody. Or two, we're going to walk inside there, they're going to turn us down, and then we're left to do a strike. And because so many of the more well-named actors were already signed on to this and were already backing this, and were even there at this little town hall of sorts trying to pitch this to not just newcomers to the anime world, but also a lot of the old ones, um, because they were so prolific already, they were already totally in almost every single one of the simuldub shows. So
Right.
somebody sitting next to me goes, okay, so I'm hesitant on this because he says, I think I already know the answer to the question, but what happens when Funimation comes back and says, oh, no, it's right to work state, we're not giving you union scale, go pound sand? Then the response back to that was, well, then we're on a strike and we're going to hold the shows hostage. Now, for
I would
simul
replace every one of your asses.
so therein lies the issue that I immediately was like, ooh, this I don't like the sound of this here, because I'm sitting here at this table with some very well-known people who don't just do voiceover, but they do bigger things inside the industry of entertainment as a whole. And I'm like, I look at you guys and compared to me, you guys are irreplaceable. I'm still just a small fish in a very large pond here. You
Right.
guys may be able to walk inside there and argue this higher grade for all of you, but who's to say that they don't walk up to me and go, "Hey, what's your name? Eric? Awesome. You don't work here anymore."
Mm-hmm.
And in all honesty, that is exactly what would have happened. And so I sat there and I go, "Okay, you're going to try and not only strong arm the umbrella or the parent company that has been keeping your lights on, keeping food on the table for you for however many years. You're going to try and strong arm them into paying not only a union scale, but you're also going to try and get union benefits on top of that, even though Funimation is non-union. Save for some of the movies, if it's like a feature film, then yes, there's a union aspect to that. But the dubbing we did, that was non-union work.
Right.
And between you, me, and the chat here, my agent, they would negotiate my rates for me. And that's typically how an agent is, unless you're just your own sole proprietor, your own sole little acting entity. Then you go inside there and they pitch you to say, "Hey, we need you for an hour. We will offer to pay you this." And you go, "Oh, well, I'd like a little bit more than that." Cool. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. We'll get the next guy, because with as many people as want to work at Funimation, there's 600 dudes waiting in the bullpen behind
Yep.
me. So it's like, oh, I walk inside there and go, "Hey, here's our demands. Here's what we as this coalition of dubbing actors want to have from you. Pay up or else." And they go, "Cool. All of you get the hell out of here. We'll go pull from the 600 fans that are not just real fans, but probably have some serious acting chops too. And we'll just replace people." And
Yeah, because look, there are a lot of people out there who can do voices. There's a bunch who can't, but on an economy of a big enough scale, and a place like Dallas has plenty. Out of the 8 million people in the Dallas metro area, there are plenty of people to work on a Funimation project. And that's just in the Dallas metro area. That's not counting people who would happily move across country for the opportunity to voice anime.
well, and
So
even over the lockdown, most of what we do became remote. So people were recording from New York, LA, Houston. I got to record from home. I directed from home. So it's like,
right.
not only are you replaceable for biting the hand that feeds you, but we don't even have to hire somebody who's walking distance from this place. We can get somebody around the world. He'll be up at 4 in the morning. It'll be 12 o'clock our time, but we will get him or get her.
Yeah. So it was crazy. The voice acting union is seriously short-sighted. Even the legacy voices, to me, they're replaceable, entirely replaceable. And I think the main thing keeping many of them there was the nepotistic sort of approach to it. The fact that one of the really strange things was the fact that all this stuff was run through Okatron or whatever studios, which is in theory a competitor to Funimation that they build out contracts to, but then made casting decisions within Funimation. Very messy relationship they had with Chris Sabat there. But with that, he had those decisions. So being in that clique was an important part of things. That, I think, is what kept people employed in those big voices for things like Dragon Ball for so long. Because I'm sure you could go online and right now find 10 people who could do Goku's voice
Easily.
without issue. Probably 1,000, frankly. His voice isn't all that complicated. I don't know that I could, but I've never thought about working on it. But I could certainly do half of the Sabbath voices. Those are easy.
Yeah.
What?
Super,
It's
super
really,
growly, aggressive. Oh yeah.
go
Let's
on.
go for
You have
9,000.
to learn to block. Go on. Get away from that T-Rex. Oh, your father will never forgive me.
Grabby cake. When I was a little boy, he didn't invite me to his birthday party. You monster, Frisbee.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's like these people are replaceable with a good enough substitute that most people don't care. Hell, half the fans would watch subs if they didn't have the dubs anyway. So it's a weird play. The attempt to unionize voice acting was silly. Over in LA, I mean, even the union rates aren't that great though. Unless you have a well negotiated rate, like you mentioned, doing 5 minutes of work for $1,250. That's good stuff. But the floor union rate is $75 an hour and a 2-hour minimum. So it's $150 no matter how much you did. And that's the
Yep.
floor rate. That's the LA union rate.
Oh
So
yeah,
when
and you can waive the 2 hours if you want and just do 75. It just depends on how hard up somebody is to get into that show.
right. And so when we're talking about the right to work states, a lot of these people are getting paid, $75 for their
Oh yeah.
episode of work. Because how long does it
Oh
take?
yeah.
How long does it take to record a side character of an episode? 20 minutes?
Oh, if even I've had sessions where I'll walk inside there and I'm scheduled in 3 separate booths for 5 minutes apiece, all within an hour, and then I come back to my main booth and I've got the last 45 minutes there. And the way that scripts are built out there is you essentially have 3 minutes for every line accounted for. So if you have 30 lines or 33 reactions, that's about an hour's worth of time.
Sure.
And it does not take much time to be able to do that, especially when you've got somebody who's seasoned at it. When we go through our scripts, you'll highlight 5 or 6 chunks of text, and there's realistically, for a layman walking in there, there's 30 minutes of work right there that they just banged out in 15 seconds between watching the preview for it, you saying, okay, let's have that, just real gritty. You come in, you nail that. All right, cool. Well, hey, let me sign your paper. You're out of here. And then, they get to go to lunch early. It's
Right.
really not hard to do. For a show that I actually had a leading role in, I came in and banged out either 6 or
Wow.
7. Oh yeah, I came
Women.
in, did it standing up. Banged out either 6 or 7 episodes. I want to say that I was scheduled for a 3-hour block of time, and we were done in 50 minutes. So like,
Oof. Yeah.
thankfully I still got paid for all that time because I was contracted for it. But it's very, very quick to do.
Yeah, but that's only if you contract for that you get paid out for, the full amount of time. There are certainly people who are not going to have as favorable contracts, especially
Mhm.
like you said, if you don't have an agent,
Yes,
and someone
absolutely.
who's familiar with working, and that's what you pay an agent for. But anyway, to get back to the point here, because we've kind of meandered off the
Oh,
question
but
that you asked.
yeah.
Are people more expendable under Sony's umbrella? 100%. I think
Mhm.
that is true. I have said that a lot of the people publicly involved in the VIX stuff,
Mm.
specifically Monica and Jamie, as the instigators of the thing within Funimation, that they are probably on the chopping block as soon as the lawsuit itself is actually over. Lots of lawsuits end relationships, they end marriages, they end friendships, and they end employment relationships, even in
Mhm.
victory, because there's so much drama
Yep.
left over.
Yep.
And so I've long thought that they would be on the chopping block. And I think other people, especially some of the lesser names who
Mhm.
aligned themselves with Funimation, with Jamie and Monica particularly, might, depending on how much attention they gathered, might be out there. Who's the guy?
Oh,
Josh. What's his name? God, I forgot. He's the voice of Boo, I think. I mix him up with Chris Rager.
I never
Uh,
remember his name.
Josh Martin.
Mm.
Josh Martin, like that guy, he started so many fights with fans that didn't make any sense, especially because he claimed to not have a particular position on the VIX stuff. And it's
It's
like,
like, then why say
then what?
anything?
Then why are you fighting with fans who are expressing their discontent at how this was handled? If
That's
nothing else, they're saying, and it's like it's like, you're the voice of Boo. Anybody can do the voice of Boo. Oh my god.
dude, that's such a thing right there. Because back when the whole Kick Vic thing was really starting to explode, and you had sound bites coming out. I listened to on your show from Okratron, and you had
I have those
all,
sound bites still.
oh man, you have to send me a copy out. I need some ringtones. But when all this stuff was just starting to hit the fan, and I was watching Yellow Flash, I was watching Hirohi, I was watching that Umbrella guy, like just trying to figure out what was going on. Because we weren't being told anything at all. And this is back when I was still fairly new into Funimation. I had done a couple named roles, but nothing really substantial yet. And then we stumbled on your channel, and watching that, I was looking at it going, okay, I have no dog in this fight whatsoever. I don't know Vic Mignogna. I barely know the people that are mentioned in conjunction with him here. It doesn't do for me to pop off online about something that I don't know about here,
Right.
and chance jeopardizing my own employment opportunities with Funimation as a whole. And there was a number of friends that I saw online, say a couple of things, and they were close enough to me that I reached out to them. I said, "Hey, you know what? I would dumb that down. I would just get rid of that and be silent on this for a bit here, because the gatekeepers are watching, and
Hmm.
you don't want to do anything that kind of the whole theme of this talk right now. You don't want to do anything that's going to cast aspersions on the company that you're supposed to be representing, and do so belligerently that they, even if they do come out on top at the end, they have to look at you and go, "Hey, look, I know you were totally for a side, but you acted like a damn fool out there, and we gotta let you go. Severance package or no." Um, and you're dead on with that too. Like I think you will see. I think you will see a mass exodus, and it won't be because people want to go. It'll be because they'll be
No,
told hit the bricks.
no, and the fact that they're again, the fact that they're rebranding, I think the admin staff is at risk here. Any of the executives are at risk as well, and anyone in like a director or ADR role I would be, the contractors. You'll never know if a contractor loses a contract because they'll just stop hiring them, and that could be for any reason.
Mhm.
But the people who are actually employed by Funimation, which is going to be any of the tech people because they struck for that and they won a while back. But any of the tech people who do sound editing or video editing or whatever, and any of the directors and stuff like that, they are at risk in general, not related to the Vic stuff. They're at risk in general because of the rebranding. Is when you're
Yeah.
cleaning out a brand. A lot of times you clean out a brand because it's not very useful to have people stuck in this old sort of allegiance. It's a lot
Mhm.
more efficient when you're coldly running through to come in and just gut the company.
Yeah.
You've got the assets from Funimation. They didn't even want to keep the name. Why bother keeping the baggage? And from
Yeah.
what I've heard, and I don't know if you can confirm or deny this, but I have heard that the work environment there is not positive and has not been positive for quite some time.
100% correct. And you bring up, if I can kind of segue for a second and then come right back. Um, the work environment there unfortunately isn't positive. When I first started doing some work there, it had a positive air about it. People were excited to see each other when they walked in. We got to sit there and shoot the breeze for a few minutes before we went back for our sessions. And then even when we got back for the session, we might chat it up a little bit with one of the directors and then get to work. There was definitely a a high school kind of popularity contest going on for sure. And there was the same kind of catty clickiness. Because unfortunately, it's what happens when you're 'cause largely Funimation amounts to a glorified theater company, which has the same people in it over and over and over and over and over. And within that close knit of a community, um, you're going to have those that thinks the sun just shines out of their ass, and there's going to be this clicky nature to it, and people get really super defensive, and the nepotism aspect of it is very, very real, where it's like, hey, I put you in my show, you better put me in your show, kind of a thing. And so that's why you've been seeing a lot of the same actors inside shows seemingly ad nauseum, where it's like, oh, most people, they could if they look at a brand new show coming out, they can guess the cast, just based on shows past. Well, with all of that, you see the cattiness, and you see how vindictive people started to then become. And you kind of see the after you're there long enough, you start picking up on those kind of trigger words, and you see how people actually talk to each other, and you realize, oh wow, a lot more people here they're more like wasps when they engage with each other. It's the kind of that niceness on top, but there's this reserved air about them. Well, take all of that and then you combine that with the social media aspect of things, because there's a very there's a relatively younger generation of people that have stepped into the positions inside the directing sphere and even inside the editing sphere and the acting sphere there at places like Funimation. And a lot of them, unfortunately, they have very, very bad attitudes. The presence that they have online is typically very crass, very vulgar, as
Yep.
though there are no repercussions to be suffered for saying some of these outlandish things. And the reason they are that way is because they watched all their idols. They watched a lot of the gatekeepers, a lot of the old crew that was there do that exact same thing online. And so somewhere along the way, they got it inside their head that, oh, in order to get a leg up inside this, I should emulate that. I should go
Right.
online and start getting really super political and get really super derisive to people and draw these really firm lines in my fan base saying, oh, if you support this, then unfriend me now. Or if you support this, then you're a rape apologist, like Jamie Markey said of people who watch Shield Hero. But they saw their idols doing that. And for so many people, they still think that anime acting, oh, that's the end all be all, which even when I first got in, I was told by a lot of the elites, hey, look, this is not going to keep food on your table. You know, this will feed your soul, but your commercial work, that's going to feed your actual stomach. Well, they watched all the greats doing this. They watched all their idols doing this. So they got in their idea in their head, okay, I guess that's how we do it. I guess that's how things are done. Nobody actually really cares for each other beyond what you can get out of them. And so I I don't think I'm too far off here when I say this. I think this is 100% on the money. But due to the nepotism that is centered around so many of the directors and so many of those who cast their shows with the same people over and over and over. Because sometimes there is a part of it where it's like, hey, I've only got 5 minutes of time to fill. I just need somebody at random. I've had that happen where somebody pops up the door and goes, hey, Eric, I need you just for a quick second. Just do this character real fast. And so it's like you're running out of time on a simuldub schedule. So you just got to get the show done and out. Yes, understandable. In that situation, you're like, I want to go with somebody I know can just do the job instead of
Right.
having to vet through an audition and maybe not get what I need. There's that aspect of it. But then there is the other aspect where it's like, hey, look, this is job security essentially. I put all you guys in my show, you put me in your shows, we just do this thing back and forth. And so, a few new ones come in every now and then, but largely it's still us running the table. Well, because the younger generation coming in, directing and casting these shows has essentially taken on the likeness of those heroes of theirs that they watched for so many years leading up to this point. When they start taking over the positions of directing, of casting, of engineering, of producing, I don't see them just going and casting nepotistically the older crew. I see them casting their friends. I see them casting the people that are of their generation, and that is already happening and has been happening for a while. And so, to the older crew at Funimation, who have been so vulgar online and have been so derisive and so unkind, not just to each other, but to the fans, if you guys hope to have any shot at doing any new work beyond your legacy characters and your legacy roles, then you either one, better never give up your directing gig and hope that you never die and outlive all these young teeny boppers coming in, or
Mm-hmm.
you better start greasing some palms, because once you step out of those positions and this younger generation comes in, they're
You're
the
done.
monsters that you have created, and they are going to act as they have seen portrayed. And
And the worst part is that as much as they like to pretend otherwise,
oh yeah, and
everything that
wouldn't
everything that
surprise
the
me if
old
Sony came in and cleaned house and just went like, "Hey, look, what's good for the goose, good for the gander. Everybody get out."
well the old guard, everything they've accused someone like Vic of, they all have similar, if not worse, skeletons to a person, to a person, because the again at the end of the
Wouldn't
day,
surprise me.
what they accused Vic of was hugging fans who might not have wanted a hug after waiting in line for an hour, which is kind of a silly accusation when you really get down to it. Kissing a fan on the forehead from time to time, and that's about it. These people, many, if not most, if not all of them, have had sexual encounters at conventions. I mean, to a shocking and alarming level, like outright full on sexual encounter. And by the way, consensual, all good, but it doesn't matter because that is inappropriate according to the standards that they set. They should not be looking at fans
Yes.
in that way. And while I'm like, look, consenting adults are consenting adults. I mean, whatever you're going to do, go ahead. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, no, it's inappropriate to even proposition someone who does this stuff. It's like, okay, if that's the standard, all of you have failed. Every single one of
Yes.
you. If a hug
Yes.
is the standard, you've all failed. Many of you
Yep.
have much worse under your belts. And
Oh yeah. Well, like Luke said in his gospel, remove the log from your own eye before you take the speck out of your brother's eye. For as you measure, it will be measured unto you.
right,
That's golden rule:
and
do unto
there's
others as you want done.
and for example, there's allegations of Chris Sabat exchanging roles for sex.
And I don't
And
know anything about that.
I do. I know about the allegations. I know the people who have made them are people who claim to have been the victims of it, and that all got swept away the entire time. And he was covered for. He went kind of quiet on Twitter for a while, but the people who were calling out toxic masculinity in the anime industry were all right in there with supporting him. Why? Okatron Studios is a cash cow for their career. It's a moneymaker because even though the roles themselves don't pay a bunch, you get to slap a Goku on your, or a Bulma or an Android 19 or whatever on your banner at a convention, and suddenly you get a lot more people coming to your table, right? Like
It's so unfortunate, and I mean, this really is the nature of humanity at large. Um, and it's that even when we graduate high school, for whatever reason, for a large majority of us, that high school popularity contest is still in full swing. And people, damn it, they just want to feel heard. They want to feel significant. So they jump on these bandwagons, they jump on these dog piles, and they act like complete fools, despicable to each other, because they get that little shot of dopamine every time that little ding goes off for a like or a thumbs up or a retweet. Um, but to think that siding with that not only doesn't put a blemish on your soul, let alone your public persona, it's completely asinine. Because
yeah.
as much as people want to try and separate their online persona from who they are in real life, you cannot. They are nigh inseparable. And I think if there's been any real, I guess, almost nature-made retribution with having access to the World Wide Web and being essentially connected to everybody at every second of every day, the byproduct of that becomes what you say, even when you're drunk and you're messaging late at night, or even when you're just pissed off and you got to vent this out. It is out there, and it's out there for good. And as vindictive as it is, if you suddenly adopt a holier than thou attitude and you start coming down on others for things that you're already guilty of, somebody's going to dig back through your long timeline. They're going to search the annals of all the crazy things that you said, and they're going to take you to task and burn you over it.
Absolutely. But we need to talk about something else here.
Yes.
The hell is this?
That's for you. It's
It
personalized.
says, here's looking at you, Nikki. P.S. Look here towards your cleavage, which is weird. It says Viva la Resistance, Eric Rolon, and then it's got lips on it. That's that's a little much.
One love.
So,
Intoxication and litigation, baby. That better make the fridge or a shelf in your room there.
Here we go. So pill me on who the hell this is. Is this your My Hero Academia character?
Yes, that's Kendo Rappa. That is the beast from the east.
It says to everyone's favorite judge, jury, and executioner, Eric Rolon. So that's nice. I like that. He looks intimidated. I've never watched My Hero. Never once.
I would start with episode 72 through 74, and then you can just stop.
Okay, so that's I got it. I got it. Okay, so I'm going through now. You sent me a box of stuff.
I did.
And so I'm pulling things out of this box at random that I don't know what. I don't know what this is. I think this may have been a different shape at some point.
No, it was definitely like that. There's a Mexican lollipop, man. That's a delicacy down here.
It's squishy.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, most of them are.
So it's in this lumpy, weird shape.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it was.
Yeah, kind of an amorphous little blobby thing on a stick. It's real good. Real
I
good.
don't believe you. This looks like it was repackaged.
Well, I mean, it kind of. I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't smell like a paper mill when you open that package up. But once you get through those first 45 seconds, you know, it really starts. The flavor starts opening up.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Not quite sure about that. I don't know what the hell that is. That's awkward. So here we go. All right. A can of wine.
You looked thirsty. You look thirsty from over here.
The Casarita. Is this a margarita? Oh, it's a house wine cocktails. This is a wine margarita.
It is. You look thirsty. You can do it on over the rocks. You can chill it in the fridge. Just, I'm thinking of you, man.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. And I need a little bit of the softer stuff after what happened in Dallas there. So.
Yeah. Well,
That's good. This one is this is an awkward thing. What is this here?
That there is a homemade Ricada color themed bullwhip.
Okay, so I can use this for home applications, I suppose.
Absolutely. It's made out of 550 paracord, so it will probably outlast you. It's a 4.5-foot bullwhip from the base of the handle to what's called the point, which is that little knot you're holding onto right there.
Okay.
The next section is called the fall, and then the little white frilly bit is called the cracker. That's what actually makes the sound barrier breaking snap.
Okay.
So
Which one do I want to hit someone with?
The cracker.
You want to hit them with this little flimsy piece of string, and this is supposed to cause the damage.
You could slice that can of wine clear in half with as fast as that comes through the air.
Okay. So, what person am I supposed to use this on?
Well,
because I think they made amendments to stop this.
They definitely did, especially for anybody who's trying to pull a cart loaded with white sticky fluff. You know, prowlers, neighborhood kids that go and trample your wife's azaleas. You know, you could
reenact my wife's azaleas.
you could reenact Roots one of these days if you want to. I mean, nothing's off the table.
Okay, so we've got some gummy worms.
There you go. There you go.
These are
I'm
nice.
not a monster. I just play them.
That's good. I just play. I'm not a monster. I just play one on TV. What's this? Oh, we've got Squinkles salsa-getti.
Now those, I gotta see you try one. You gotta do it. F's in the chat for Nick to try the salsa spaghetti candy. F's in the chat.
Watermelon flavored hot candy strips and tamarind flavored sauce.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. You got a whole can of wine you can wash it down with. F's in the chat. Look at all those F's. F's in the chat for Nick.
So I'm supposed to eat this?
Yeah, you gotta open the bag out there. Get a salsa spaghetti out there. It's gonna taste great. It's gonna be like my spinach puffs. It's gonna be delicious. Just so you know, it's not poison. It's not Cusco. It's poison. The poison is
it looks sealed.
Cusco.
Unlike this looks sealed. This looks unsealed and resealed with Scotch tape.
I'm not going to say that I didn't get it from a guy under a bridge, but I didn't get it from a guy under a bridge.
I'm not worried about what the guy under the bridge did to it. I'm more worried about what you may have done to it.
I put it in there lovingly next to a can of wine. That's what I did to it.
Okay.
Salsa-getti. Get the salsa-getti.
This has sauce.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to put the sauce on this?
Probably. Wait, there's sauce with it? Dude, put the sauce on that. Get a fork. Oh. This is
Where is this from? What bootleg ass country did this salsa getty come from?
The country of Kroger, the Hispanic food aisle. Boy, you got a pretty mouth.
It's unpleasant.
No, with the sauce. With the sauce. F's in the chat for the sauce.
And then it's spicy afterwards. That's
yeah!
weird.
F's in the chat for the sauce. F's in the chat for the sauce. Salsa Getty.
Oh God, it's terrible.
Well, wash it down with the wine. That's why I got it for you.
Why would anybody eat that willingly?
Well, you know,
I'm at the mercy of the chat here. So,
sauce, sauce.
Oh
sauce,
God, the
sauce.
I need something to put the sauce on.
Put it on your finger.
Okay. Yeah, a little bit. That's not as bad as the gummy thing.
It's probably the tamarind flavor.
Yeah, it's weird though. It doesn't make sense. My brain can't process what's happening.
Right when
I don't
he
wanna,
calls it Uncle Salty.
I don't want to dump this all over the stuff because like Lady Rackets or the kids might want to try the gummy things because they're insane.
Salsa Getty, man.
I can get just some sauce on one of these.
Yeah, there you go.
Things. Here we go.
Get in there.
God, that is just. You need to stop. You need to stop whatever you're doing.
Got a strong looking throat there, but he can take that in one breath. Oh, this is gonna be great. Oh, like a chappy did.
What is wrong with Mexico? God,
Hey, when you got just a little bit of money and not a whole lot of access to what you want, you got to work with what you got.
Oh, God. I am now a proponent of the nuclear premature assault on Mexico.
Yes.
Oh, that's horrible.
Well, you got that lovely can of wine. Lovely can of wine to wash down that salsa Getty.
Oh, God. You wrote a thing.
I did. I wrote you a manifesto.
You wrote it in cursive.
I wrote you a manifesto. It's not as unbreaded as a certain somebody, but, you know.
Am I supposed to read this?
If you want.
Right now? Like, is that the idea to read this
online? That was the idea because it would be great for your fans to hear it as well.
Okay. Okay, I got to read cursive. We're going to work on this. Dear Sultan of Suing, Harbinger of Justice, it is my very good honor to converse with you and my deepest point of pride to count myself amongst those whose gray matter actually flickers with enlightenment, much like your own does. The ill-tempered brood that attempts to step up to your liturgical intellect, I think that's what it says, are biting off far more than they can chew, as well as writing a check that squishy hind ends cannot hope to cash. Your way with words borders on angelic. Ooh, and your measured whiskey-fueled insults put Dante to shame. I wait with bated breath to see how costly the battle becomes for those who attempt poison and destroy the monumentous edifice of good-humored, fair use, spellbinding content that has become so far, or has become a. Damn it. See, you just wrote this like this to embarrass me. A bar. Damn, it has become a bar set far too high for mere mortals to attain to. Let's see. Thou art a legend amongst men and a titan amongst petulant children. The bards will sing of thy legend eons. Oh God, eons after you're buried. skeleton has long since rejoined the dust of the fields. A word of encouragement. Uh, and I present to thee in an hour when the courage of men, namely Canadian truckers, flames. Wait, flames?
Yep.
Flames to life. Oh, that's why it didn't make sense to me. I didn't read the next word. Flames to life like so many brass ball patriots before them. Never give up and never surrender. In the spaces between sleep and awake, I am there. I am the bravado laden handshakes you adjourn your consultations with. I am there. In the thunderous claps of claps of gavels that beat to the undying heartbeat of justice. I am there. I am there as an encourager and an inspiring force. I am there as fire of ignition when you feel that your power has run dry. Never give up and never surrender. May this be the epitaph on the sepulchres of the brave. May this be the unrelenting motivation when all seems lost. Your fight is a just one. Your cause is noble. Your backbone unbreakable. Your reach is global. Ooh, nice. That was good heroic meter there. Rest not upon your laurels and always keep your integrity in view. For the weight you carry is a hefty one. Rude. It is built upon the super chats of support and the calls to accountability. Don't ever discount the million separate instances that have taken place in your life, all leading to this perfect present moment. You've been called for such a time as this. Your responsibility is great. Carry it with a measure of aplomb reserved for cherub angels, and never forget where you came from. Stand for truth, and it will stand with you. Go with God and never give up, never surrender. All the best to you and yours. Hey, thank you, man. That was nice.
You're welcome, sir.
And it was handwritten in cursive, which is why my retarded self couldn't read it, but it was a lot of effort. It was a lot of effort. So thank you for that.
I tell you what, adults and people at least our age, that'll be like the code language that we write in when we don't want our kids to know what's being.
Yeah, no kidding. We have our kids do cursive as part of their English, but
good.
It's like a lost and dying art. And
it is.
Yeah, and I don't read it enough. So
Neither do I.
Okay. 2 super chats, and then we have to do this segment called the Daily Unbreaded.
Oh, I've heard legend of it.
All right.
I hear it's pretty awesome.
I'm warning you about it because it is spicy. And you're a good man, and I don't want to ruin a good man. So, Colin Archer says, My Hero Academia was a breath of fresh air. The Japanese took the concept of optimistic Superman and played it straight. It worked much, much better than the what if Superman was bad meme the West seems so obsessed with. Well, yeah, this is the problem with where Western storytelling has gone. We have gotten away from archetypes and we have gone into complicated character development.
Yeah.
Which complicated always seems to mean dark, brooding past. Like without fail. It's like that's not complicated. That's a trope. And the trope worked when it was a trope. Now it's just literally everything. That's why I like Reacher so much. Have you been watching Reacher?
No, we're talking Jack Reacher, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But the Amazon one.
I've only seen the first movie that Cruise was in, but I know the character.
Yeah. The Cruise is not Reacher.
Okay.
I liked the movie, by the way. And I like Tom Cruise, and his portrayal was fine of a character, but he's not Reacher. Reacher is a 6'4" monster. He's a giant beast of a man who is also highly analytical, way too intelligent, and super autistic.
Sounds like me.
There you go. Yeah. You are a pretty big guy, actually. Yeah. So that's the character, and he has an unwavering sense of his own justice, and it's beautiful. Like in episode 5, which we watched on Twitch last night, they show him as a kid when he and his brother used to get into scraps with kids, and one of them they took a magic 8-ball and they brained this kid just, and
Oh.
because he deserved it because he was an ass bag. And so then that turns out to be a brigadier general's son. They were army family, and so they get the 2 kids and they have to go apologize. So his brother Joe, who actually hit the kid, he goes up and he says, I'm sorry because his parents told him he had to. And then when Jack goes up and they're like, say you're sorry. No. Just no.
Unflappable.
And then eventually he goes, fine. I'm sorry. The left side of your face doesn't look like the right side of your face. It was awesome.
Oh, that's great.
Sorry, Marines, not Army. But it's like that's the character you want. He's got an unwavering sense of justice. And like they hinted, they're like one of the characters brings up in Baghdad, he killed some civilians, but it was all wiped away. Did he tell you about that? And then he explains the story. He's like, yeah, I was out on patrol and I saw these guys assaulting children. So I sent the children home and I knew the guys would come after me. So I was waiting for them and I shot them and killed them. Do you have a problem with me killing people who harm children? It's like, okay, so there's no dark, complicated backstory. The man is straightforward. He has a moral compass and he lives by it, even when it might be to the detriment of himself. That's just how it goes.
That's like that's why I love the character of Rorschach in Watchmen, and that even to the degree where he has to have Dr. Manhattan kill him because he's like, my moral compass will not let me not tell the world this. So do what you got to do.
Yep. Yeah, and everything about Rorschach was just a straightforward character. I mean, he had a complicated past that made him into kind of a lunatic, but it didn't matter as far as that explained his methodology, not his motivations.
Yes.
And what they've been trying to do with Batman and Superman lately is just it's really, really irritating. Batman's trauma is that his parents were murdered. Like that's his trauma. And it created a sense of this crime thing has to be stopped by someone and the police are ineffective. And now it's like they're trying to make all these complicated choices. And lately they had Superman get captured with red kryptonite or whatever and raped for 6 months or something stupid.
Oh,
it's like what are you doing here? What is this?
No. Superman got Me Too'd. Jeez.
He should uppercut someone into mist for that. Shinchan 256B says if we are going Mexican drinks, drink a Michelada beer with a good Bloody Mary mix.
There you go.
Line the glass edge with some mixed spice seasoning. I recommend Tony's, Tony Shashri's. I'm guessing the mixture is per customer of how much beer to Mary mix. Okay. Well, maybe I'll try
that sounds honestly like a martini that I concocted called the Devil's Martini. It is a blended Serrano, jalapeno, and habanero pepper with jalapeno Russian vodka with a salt and pepper rimmer and then a full bottle of Tabasco sauce. And it's very, very hot with a real hard bite. I've only ever made and drank one. You got to drink it fast because it's breath of fire going in, ring of fire coming out.
Dude, it's the vinegar of like I did Tabasco shots at work for a challenge because people were like, oh, use Tabasco shots. I'm like, fuck it, Tabasco. Who cares? Like no big deal. And I got paid like $10 a shot of Tabasco. Okay. And but then I was sitting on the bus on the way home and I'm like, oh, my stomach, because the vinegar is gross. That's a whole bottle of Tabasco in one drink. That's nasty.
Yeah. Well, you definitely want to have some bread in your stomach because I made the foolhardy mistake of eating an habanero pepper. And I can do hot. Like it doesn't destroy my palate. But I ate one on an empty stomach and I actually burned my stomach lining because of the acid inside there.
I know this story because I did it with a Reaper pepper.
Oh no.
I thought I was going to die. I did it on stream.
Poor bastard. Did you eat a whole pack of Rolaids or what?
No, I laid on the ground shuddering, thinking I was like, I just need to get to the kitchen to get some milk because I didn't want to taint the Reaper experience. So I didn't have milk before. I should have had milk before. like 30
thick
minutes
piece of
before.
bread, big piece of bread, just so you got a cushion for it to land on.
Yeah, you got to have something in the stomach, and I didn't. So I felt the pepper hit my upper intestine. Like I felt that transition,
Yep,
and
I know
it
what you're talking
was.
about.
I thought I was like it was like 5 a.m, and I was laying on the ground going, I'm gonna have to somehow get the attention of my wife and have her drive me to the hospital. But I eventually was able to stand up. And so I stood up and got to the kitchen and I poured a glass of milk. This is before my lactose intolerance. May have something to do with it. Honestly, I don't know. But yeah, it's all on stream. The pepper was fine. I could eat another Reaper pepper as far as spice goes.
Yeah,
It's hot. Don't get me wrong. It's not like pleasant, but it's just hot in your mouth. You get over that.
I went to a friend's house for Christmas Eve. He called it Tamale Eve, um, and he had made a bunch of awesome tamales and smoked the pork shoulder himself. They were so good. So he had just regular, kind of plain Jane, mild little flavor spice, but then he had this pot he called tamale roulette, and inside there were mixed in tamales, some made with Carolina Reapers, some made with ghost chilies, and then some made with habaneros.
Yeah.
And no, sorry, some made with scorpion peppers. And so
Morugas.
I went inside there and I grabbed 3 of them and I sat down with him and to start eating. He's like, Are you sure there? You don't want to just start with one? And I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna do this, I want to, I want the best, because I never tried it at Carolina Reaper before. I'm like, I want the best possible shot at getting one of those bad boys. And they were hot, but the flavor was so amazing. And thankfully I'd eaten enough chips that it didn't destroy my stomach. But the next day,
I know what happened.
dude, 8:30 rolls around.
You're not going to tell the poop story, did you?
Dude, I thought I was going to die. I thought it was so hot.
I don't have that problem. I don't have the poop problem, but I pissed fire.
Dude, it was so hot that the underside of my nuts were on fire just from proximity. It was terrible. Oh my gosh.
For me, I screamed when I took my morning pee. My wife's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "It burns." Oh dear God. Guy says, "Is this some kind of weird mating ritual?" Yes. Mandy Karavicha says, "I Googled Eric Rolon and got Chinese cartoons." Yeah, he's an anime voice actor. Well, was.
Yeah.
Well, what? Was for Funimation. Would still do it for, whoever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so it is time for the unbreaded segment. Let me bring this up. And then, ladies and gentlemen, after the unbreaded segment, I'm going to we'll read the super chats and wrap up the show. And then I will go to Twitch, where I will be playing Elden Ring like an idiot. So that should be be
you
fun.
can enjoy your canned wine cocktail while you're there, and some more of that sketty. That's what the gummy worms are for, to be enjoyed while you're streaming. Death sentences. Ooh.
This is the spaghetti. This is just disgusting. This is really, frankly, revolting. That salsa-getti, and oh God. I am now for deportation of legal immigrants after that. Okay, I need to so here's how the unbreaded segment works. This is manifesto by a guy named Matthew Harris, Dr. Matthew Harris, a UCLA postgraduate lecturer. So he is a doctor of philosophy, was a lecturer at UCLA for a year, and then was no longer a lecturer at UCLA for a year after that year. There are reasons that they have. Not really sure what they are. We may find some of them tonight. But he sent this to the philosophy department, along with emails of threats, emails of threats to shoot the philosophy department.
Oh, no.
And kill them. But this is his manifesto. And so here is what we do. We let fate decide. Page 374. And we
Mm.
use the 374 is the PDF page number, not the page number on the actual thing, but
Okay.
the file page number.
Now,
Oh
are
my
there?
God! This is a based and red pilled page. Oh, okay.
Are there code words I need to know?
Yep.
All right.
Only if you're gonna read some of this. If you want to read some of this, you can.
You know, I would love to just be a, this little fly on the wall here. I just want to know what I'm supposed to be associating inside my noggin while I hear the
Well, the N word is replaced with binger.
binger. Okay.
Bikes is a code word for a racial epithet that rhymes with bikes. Starts with a K.
Ah.
And blinks is code word for chinks in the armor. Sorry.
Of course, yes. Yeah, chinks in the
Forgot to
dragon's
finish
tails.
that sentence. But yes, so that's the three main ones that we've encountered. I have not censored any words for Italians. He doesn't really like Italians either. So
primo.
we've got I will play the intro. Here we go. I'm bread. All right. So here we go. This is page 374. And look at this, guys, the words. So we read this no context going into it. We just start on the page and end at the page because that's how this goes. So I'm going to start reading.
All right.
Go. Gavin is the problem with UCLA philosophy. Defund academic philosophy for being worthless and racist. Cancel Gavin completely. Cancel everything about Gavin's life and career. Cancel Gavin or shut the fuck up and listen to me. Defund academic philosophy for being worthless and racist. Cancel Gavin completely. Cancel everything about Gavin's life and career. Cancel Gavin or shut the fuck up and listen to me. Defund academic philosophy for being worthless and racist. Cancel Gavin completely. Cancel everything about Gavin's life and career. Cancel Gavin or shut the fuck up and listen to me. Defund academic philosophy for being worthless and racist. The thing you don't realize, Gavin, is I can open the damn door myself. Even if it's a pandemic, I can open the door and let myself in, and there's nothing you can do to stop me, bitch. If a finger can't decide what grades to give his students without his students going behind his back and complaining, why the fuck do you let bingers teach in the first place? If a binger can't teach without his students going behind him to decide what their final exam should be or how much work is acceptable, then you didn't actually put the binger in a position to teach the class. You let white kids run the class when you surround the binger with pressure above and below. How am I supposed to do the job of teaching when I have a racist boss who doesn't value my input and the pressure of white students is allowed to override the decisions I make as an expert? You basically lynched me. You basically let those white kids run the classroom. You basically let a few white kids tell me what their grade would be and how I was allowed to test them. As important as the subject is, you had no respect for my authority on the matter. And can you imagine how that affects my ability to instruct? How the fuck am I supposed to teach with a concentrated mind when you got white kids going behind my back to overthrow my credibility as the only binger in charge of class in the whole damn department? Wouldn't you want to give support to a binger being the only one offering this rare form of learning in your university rather than put a rope around his neck for the students to decide if they want to apply pressure or not? Fuck you, UCLA, you bunch of racist hypocrites. I'm here to provide cutting-edge research and to share it in my teaching. You did nothing to encourage that environment and left me hanging high and dry after lying to me about the trajectory of my career.
Oh my God.
Unbreaded.
Oh my gosh. That was so awesome. Oh, you read it with such vivacity. Oh.
Hey, look, I agree with him. This page is cancel everything about Gavin's life and career.
Oh my gosh. You have to just send me that page. I need to frame that just to remember the day.
Oh,
Holy
dude, every single page of this is great.
Oh my God.
This section is good. This section is good.
My stomach hurts from laughing so hard.
Yeah, that's what happens with this this segment with some frequency.
Wow.
Oh, damn. It gets better and better. So,
oh man. Dude, you may want to just save that next one. Just don't do the randomizer. Just keep that for tomorrow's show. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You got to take it out of context. You don't want the context because this is the wisdom, right? It's like proof texting, right? It's like proof texting in the Bible. It's like, no, it says right here. It's like, but what did it say before it and after it?
You don't need to know.
Stop.
Irrelevant.
Stop that. So there you go. So there you go.
So I have to ask real quick. What's the they say let Eric read now. I'd read one.
You'd read one? You want to read the second page?
Yeah, let's do it. So where does unbreaded come in?
I'll show you in a minute.
Okay, cool. Yeah, give me that second page.
I've got the second page. So remember, Binger for the N-word.
Yep.
Bikes.
Yep.
And then blinks.
Got it.
I think that's all. I don't know. I'm previewing it real quick. I don't know that you're actually going to have to use any of those.
All right.
Not that things aren't going to be great because they
are.
So here we go. Back to it. And you just go ahead and start. Can you see okay?
Yes, I can. All right.
Go ahead.
I'm not a rich white jerk or a Jewish fuck whose daddy went to Harvard. This ain't fucking game to me. I'm here to inspire real difference and challenges, and you fucks try to execute me. Your whole institution is a terrorist boot camp for continuing white indoctrination, and fuck you. I hope your life burns down. The world has gotten dumber before it will never get dumb again. The world has been annoying to watch before it will never be this annoying to watch again. The world has been uncomfortable to exist in before, but I will never be this uncomfortable again. It will never be worse than this for me. I don't have anything to prove to people I don't respect. Nothing is worth the effort of performing for people I don't respect. Life isn't a performance, and I don't owe you shit. Life isn't a story, and I don't owe you shit. I don't give a fuck about any of you enough to put up with situations that I find stressful or uncomfortable. I don't need help from any of you. I can get anything I want by other means. I don't need your advice, help, or opinion. I don't need your mercy, existence, or feedback. Reality is whatever I want it to be. Stop acting like you matter. Never compare me to anyone else. Always see me as better than everyone else. Give me attractive secretaries whose job is to edit my projects and assist me in my self-employed lifestyle and to give me a blowjob.
Preach!
I don't worry if my sentences are misrepresented. I don't care if you get distracted by bullshit I didn't intend to say. You don't have a mind or a perspective. You just do what I want, including die or kill yourselves. It's insane that I wore whiteface all of these years and was afraid to be a binger. As if being myself would discredit myself. Fuck you. The world of me, I am effective, and it works. I know, so it is. I am effective. Possible words and multiverses and parallel universes and simulations are just ways of saying it works. You could say it works in lots of different ways, or invent a different way to say it works. I already know. So I don't need to say it works. I don't even need to tell myself it works. I don't need to say to you in other words that it works. I don't need to convince anyone it works.
Thank you, sir. Excellent. And there was a word in there and you nailed it. I didn't see it when I did my initial scan through, but I'm glad that you did not get tripped up on it because things can get bad with that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it works. It works. Also, cancel everything about Gavin's life and career. Fuck Gavin.
Gavin, what a jerk. Didn't show up to my birthday party. And when he finally did get there, he smashed my cake. I didn't even get to do it. Just, that's it. Done with
Never want Gavin smashing your cakes.
Mm-mm.
Ask Christina Guilfoy. She didn't want him smashing her cakes.
Oh.
Okay. There we go. So that's the daily unbreaded segment. Very, very important to consistently and constantly revisit the daily unbreaded. So with that, I guess it's time to transition into reading these super chats.
Le chat superior.
So unless there's anything else you wanted to say or talk about before we do that, it's getting kind of late. So I don't want to go too much longer here, especially
Honestly,
because I have a Twitch stream to
oh
get
well,
to.
hey, actually, I do.
Yeah.
So for those in the
Oh,
chat,
I got to show the video. I'll find it while you
oh
do
yeah,
this.
yeah, it's
Sorry.
fine. So for those in the chat who've been hanging out with us this long, Nick is one hell of a guy. But I don't need to tell you that. You wouldn't be here if you thought otherwise, or unless you're hate lurking, in which case, hey, thanks for the view on his video here. I myself am I'm a born and bred creator. I do what I do entertainment wise, biblical research wise, um, sharing wisdom and helping friends because I'm compelled to do it. It's not that I'm trying to go out there and earn myself an earthly crown. I do it because I have to do it. I could use your prayers tonight and for the rest of this week. I have recently applied to a position over at Louder with Crowder to be their lead comedy content writer. Haven't heard back yet on that application, but it had to be submitted with a cover letter in which I included the phrase "onions taste delicious." I had to include 2 pages of monologue style jokes, which I did, and I had to include a short sketch or commercial script. So I could use your prayers because that would be a fantastic job that would allow me to be able to take on even more responsibility than I have here, and it would let my wife be the full-time mommy to our little one that she wants to be. So I could use your prayers. I covet your prayers. Please and thank you.
Well, you got my vote. Tell the Crowder democracy that it's over.
Tell him.
Case closed.
Tell him.
Case closed. That would be great, man. I will absolutely do that.
Appreciate it.
Try to shove pills in my mouth.
Put all those classes at Second City to good use.
Second City. What the hell's that?
Second City in Chicago. That's it's a it's a theater that do a lot of improv and then sketch comedy there. There's classes you can take just through their improv program. You can learn sketch comedy, how to write, how to do scenes, how to do long form comedy, short term games and whatnot. But it's a place where most of the original cast and even some newer members of the cast of SNL came from. So you had like
Gotcha.
Gilda Radner, John Belushi, John Candy, Chris Farley. Those big ones came through Second City.
I see. See, I don't know about any of that stuff because I'm just a humble Minnesota boy.
That's all right. Probably better that you don't.
This is Matthew Harris, the author of the sacred text of Unbreaded. And this is where Unbreaded comes from. So here we go. This is just 1 minute, just under a minute.
Touch down.
Yeah.
Paper? Unbreaded.
Unbreaded.
No. Touch down. On paper? Unbreaded. Right. Touch down. Unbreaded. Touch down. Paper? Unbreaded. Right. Touch down. Paper? I never gave a shit. This was never to these. Touch down. Paper? Unbreaded. Die. Yeah.
How many stacker threes was that guy on? Oh my gosh.
That man was spitting truth.
Wow.
Touch down. On paper? Unbreaded. Right.
So who's he talking to? Is he just voicing the concerns to the ether?
There are also remixes of it. I'm not going to pull the remixes up because we'd have to be pulling them out every single episode. But
sure,
no, it's good. I strongly encourage people to look up the various remixes that are out there. There's a synth wave one. There's a regular one. There's like a metal one that came out just yesterday. Okay. The dreaded white noise says Nick not reading your emails. Unbreaded. Oh God. Or unreaded. That's sorry. Unreaded. JC Adult 101 says, I was in my office, my wife and son in the kitchen baking Christmas cookies. He fell on his chin. Hospital staff was grilling me as if I were a child abuser. Oh yeah. That's always the fun thing about taking your kid into the the hospital is when they're like, oh, really? How'd this happen? Oh, did it? And you're like, yes. 9 witnesses. Leave me alone. But love that system. The accuse system.
Right.
J'accuse and not applicable says, do this D or do not. There is no try, Billy. Oh no. Sorry. That was Yoda. That was Yoda molesting a child.
Oh no.
Do this D or do not. There is no try, Billy. Ponton 21. The Jedi were a functioning organization only when the Republic existed. They were mostly wiped out by Order 66 before the new Empire emerged. Yeah, we'll see. I don't trust them. I don't trust the Jedi. Velis says Eric Colon would be a great name for a gay porn star.
Okay, so I heard it was the name of your first pet and then the street you grew up on. And if that's the case, mine would be Juno Harlan. But Eric Colon could work too.
The name of your first pet and the name of the street you grew up on?
Mm-hmm.
That'd be, well, like half of it was Cold Lake and the other half was Jalisco. So it'd be Indiana Jones Cold Lake or Indiana Jones Jalisco.
Oh my gosh.
Both of those are weird.
Yes.
Great US says, for the heart of Ahura Mazda, GTFO Discord, kill it. Discord introduces new anti-misinformation policy, will ban people for off-platform behavior. Yeah, I gotta figure out what to do about that. Because I have a Discord. It's a paid Discord, and it may have to go by the wayside because I know that the problem is when Discord nukes like a server, they nuke everybody's accounts in the server.
Seriously?
So it's like, it's really ridiculous.
That's so well, like they're all guilty because they watch your stream or something?
Well, like if some, like, let's say someone in my Discord server says something very racist, for example, which has happened on, from time to time. They really hate white people in there, for example. So they go in, they're like, these crackers. And then Discord is like, oh, we are very opposed to white person racism. Racism against a white person. This is consistent with Discord's policies. Of course, this is what they're worried about. Sure. We are going to ban this very racist Discord server. They will just nuke the whole thing and all of the accounts associated with it. It's crazy.
Jeez.
So the quartering uses glitted. I think it means gilded, maybe. Gilded. I don't know. I gotta figure out what to do. I haven't really thought too much about the Discord lately because my admin has been taking care of it and has been doing such a wonderful job that nobody's bitching at me, which means something great is happening.
Good.
Lex Tenebris says, I get the feeling this fine fellow being red lives in four-cornered time. Okay. That was I think for the unbreaded. El Gonzo says, Nick tiene un pito chiquito. Okay. Not quite, like I don't know enough Spanish to know what that actually means, but what did it say?
Said, Nick, you have a tiny penis.
That's it? That's all it said? Oh, I thought it was going to be spicier than that.
Pene chiquito.
Zalcor07 says unbreaded didn't kill himself. Mandy says, did you see any Rumble Odyssey chats? Yes. I just read Rumble chat or Odyssey chats. I'm about to read Rumble chats. I read some of them were from the previous show still. But yeah, I just read them. SC Medic 71. This is over on Rumble. Slice up a pool noodle the long way and pad the edges of that table.
Good idea.
It would be a good idea, except it's no longer an issue. And we didn't really ever think of it as an issue because no kids had gotten hurt on it before. That one kid got hurt on it the one time. But Yeah, Joe Schmo, one of three, says Funimation script writers made the subs versus dubs debate become a political fight. Yep.
Mm.
Lieutenant Hobbit says, I don't believe in God or the Bible. He was never around when I needed him, but makes me happy he has been a source of strength for others. So there you go. Nana 1776 says, use pool noodles for the edges of the coffee table. Slice halfway through and they fit on the edges. Well, there you go. The same, very similar. Very similar.
I can do that to my coffee table because it has enough of a lip that will allow that. So
I've seen that hack before, and you can use command strips if it doesn't just sit there and all that stuff. And,
or like weather stripping or something, like the little foamy.
Yeah, just a two-sided carpet tape would work too. But any of those things, you can do that to affix it to the table very easily. It's just now it's not really a problem anymore. It was much more of a problem before. Rebel Arvita has High Dive has redo of Healer. Okay. Redo of Healer is a very unbreaded anime.
You were telling me about that one. I was trying to remember the name of it the other day.
Oh yeah, watch it with your wife. It's great. Uriah Wright says, good riddance. Monica shouldn't let the remote hit her on the way out. She should not. She should not let that remote hit her. Noel James says, it's really great to see Eric on. I can't wait to watch the replay. Always love the nerd streams. This one was pretty good. Pretty good nerdiness.
That's good.
Going on. 2D Harem King Jack says, watch Koroinu, Nick. It's worth a watch. Ty Sloan says, just watch Japanese dubs. Show English VAs the door. All English VAs support abortion anyway and trans rights. It's unbelievable. Glad you're addressing it. Well, they should abort themselves from the industry. Before I get accused of wishing. See, at some point in the past, I said that there were people online who my life would not be any worse if they died. Mm-hmm. And then I was accused of threatening and wishing death upon a whole bunch of people, which is not what I did. I just told the truth that they're, the interactions that I have with these people are so rare, really, and unproductive that if they had died tomorrow, it wouldn't actually affect my life in any tangible way.
It might even be a gain to society.
Almost definitely. Not applicable says, watch Deji Meets Girl. Great fun miniseries. Is there any goblin rape in it? Because if not, I'm not watching it. Lord Kamina 2 says, watch Dorohedoro and Ranking of Kings. Richard Samuel Jordan, I can see why Eric is no longer at Funimation. He is full of testosterone and they are full of soy. Going to put another 10 to the GoFundMe. Oh yeah, I need to move that GoFundMe over to Give Send Go. Now that I'm not in the trial, I can take some time and do that. Man of Culture says, if you haven't watched anime in a while, might I recommend Goblin Slayer Abridged? It's hilariously dubbed in English and keeps enough of the OC content intact for the story not to be totally bonkers. I am one of the few people that you'll run across who thought Dragon Ball Z Abridged was garbage. I didn't find it funny. I didn't like it.
I didn't either.
I thought that it was not good. Man.
There's one abridged series that I really enjoy, and that's Hellsing Ultimate. That was fantastic. Takahata slayed that.
Okay. Well, maybe. But I want to watch the original Hellsing Ultimate, so.
The episodes are almost as long. They are gargantuan.
Okay. Abridged is trash. Yes, one person agrees with me. Yeah, nailed it. Man of Joe says, Legend of the Galactic Heroes, best space opera political anime I've ever watched.
I've heard it's good.
I have too. I love Macross though. Really did.
Oh, dude, Macross deep cuts there, man. That's such a goodie.
And Macross Plus was great. Also, Naked Sharon Apple is fantastic. And then I like Macross 2, even though it's not canon. I really like Macross 2 with the Metal Siren and the Marduk coming to Earth. Very cool stuff. Good. 10 minutes. Adrian Hansen says, I'm pushing 50. I grew up on the OG stuff, Battle of the Planets, and Go Nagai Mazinger Z. Talbot Links, hey Nick, long time no chat. What the hell did I just wander in on? Yakov Smirnov? No, that was a request that we do a skit in Russian. And we did with accurate Russian language. Seek the Light says, you're one of the best toasters ever. Give us a toast to Mardi Gras before it ends at midnight. Well, I missed that, but I
yeah.
will.
Retro.
I will gladly toast Mardi Gras.
Giga Chad. Toast of Mardi Gras. King Cake.
I know Macross Plus was in the theaters for one day only. I know. And I was supposed to go. Guess what happened? No, wait, that was Transformers. Transformers, the movie came and I had COVID. Macross was in. My buddy had tickets to Macross Plus in theaters in a great place in the city. He invited me and I could not go.
That's a hassle.
So mad. The Macross Plus movie is actually like, because I originally watched the episodes, but the movie of it is really, really good. They added some stuff from that was cut from the American for no reason, was cut from the US anime.
Interesting. Do they kind of do like an amalgamation of the episodes then?
Yeah.
Very good.
And it's good. It's very, very good. Okay, so this is a toast. This is a toast to Mardi Gras, to the Fat Tuesday before the Ash Wednesday, the party before the pardon. You are there for us to indulge our drinking and our gluttony before we ask for forgiveness and repentance and pay for it for the next 40 days. Cheers to you, Mardi Gras. Not applicable. Ron can't do anything with her legal. She's a horse. X says, glad to see Rolon back on the show. Hope to see him again. You guys are hilarious. Bonus points since he knows how to pronounce Edward Elric.
Hey.
It's Edwin. It's Edwin Elric.
Edwin Elric.
Darian. What would you say to someone who says Edwin Elric? Like, what would you call that person?
A Nerf herder.
A Nerf herder?
Mm-hmm.
Like someone who herds Nerf guns?
No, I think they're a species inside Star Wars. What is Empire Strikes Back, where Leia gets all worked up and she's up in Han's face like, you Nerf herder.
So someone who was unironically saying Edwin Elric, you would call them a Nerf herder.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And I'd probably beat them about the face and neck with a reed.
That's a little more extreme than calling them a Nerf herder.
Well, it's either that or I got to stuff a bar of Irish Spring in a sock and just go all Full Metal Jacket on them.
Well, I'm glad I don't know anyone who did that. Darian Edwards says, my daughter lost half of one of her front teeth this Christmas, taking a bit out of the floor. So I feel that pain, guys. Oh, dang it. Sucks.
Yikes.
Shinchan 256B says, tú tienes músculos pequeños. Hit the weights. I got that one. Little tiny bitch muscles. Hit the weights, Nick. Waterworld is the best. Can't wait for you to get felted on Elden Ring. He'll sing. Helsing is top notch. Fun from my childhood. Might get a tattoo of that too. Do you approve, Monster Nick? Look, if you want to get a tattoo, you do whatever you want, so long as you're not an unmarried woman. If you're an unmarried woman, don't get tattoos unless your name is Cynthia. Then you're already lost to men. Let's see. Scotty DU81 says Avatar: The Last Airbender is an anime. Changed my mind. I got no reason to change it, brother. That's on you. Dr. Squirtle Boy 12 says, Nick, do you have a My Anime List account? I do not. Need to see what anime you've watched so I can make fun of your trash taste. You make fun of my trash taste all you want. We got Macross, the OG Macross. We've got of course Clash of the Bionids, which is something different in the Japanese. I think it's like love bullshit or whatever. Macross Plus, Macross 2. We've got Gundam Wing. We've got Cowboy Bebop, Outlaw Star, Ninja Scroll. I actually don't have a huge list of anime. Spriggan, the OVA of Baki, the Grappler, and then of course the new series of Baki that's been out on Netflix, which I've enjoyed immensely because it's comical. Kengan Ashura recently I watched. Ghost in the Shell.
Oof. That one still holds up. It's so good.
I know I hate it.
You don't like it?
I hate that fucking song, man.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about. See?
Just the
see it in
song?
your face. That song that's playing in the background for half the damn movie is like, It's oh god, it's so bad.
Well, it's like
Oh,
that
it's
constant
terrible.
song that plays in True Romance. It just continues to just kick up, and it's like, why did this become a ride at Disney World?
I don't even care. Like I hate that song. I hate it. Vinland Saga. I was watching Overlord and Lady Ragged's like, "Oh yeah, we'll watch Overlord." And we watched a couple episodes and then she just kind of like forgot we were watching it and we watched something else. And the other day she's like, "We were watching an anime, weren't we?" It's like, "Yeah, we were." Until you quit.
Oh.
Until you quit. But no, there's Evangelion, of course.
Yes.
I've watched. I watched the Berserk Gold. I didn't watch the original Berserk series, but I watched the Golden Arc trilogy, and then followed that up with the new Berserk, which was really bad.
I haven't seen the new one.
Don't.
All right.
If you're gonna watch it, find it uncensored on Blu-ray because it's weird when all of the like naked women have no nipples. Like, look, I'm not.
That's so weird when they do that.
It's strange. It's like I'm looking at mannequins and it's awkward.
Yeah.
I'm like, it's very, very weird. Oh, I watched Blood Sea. Blood Sea was weird. And I also watched Rin the Nemo Sign, which I recommend everybody watch. Rin the Nemo Sign.
Rin, Nemo Sign, or is that Nemasane?
Yeah, the Nemo Sign.
That's with the rape angels, right?
Mm-hmm. And the giant tree that impregnates women into immortality.
Yeah. That's a good one to watch.
Oh.
That's a good one to watch with grandma, right?
Yep. Yep. You should definitely do that. Let's see. Yeah, Blood Sea is great. Blood Sea was awful. Right next to each other in the chat. Beautiful. And it really was both. I only watched Blood Sea because I kept seeing it show up on top 10 goriest anime lists. It's like, oh, this looks funny. And then watching everybody get ripped up was great.
Did you ever watch Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust?
Yes, in theaters when it came out to the US.
Theaters? Dang, man. I would have loved to have seen it in theaters. That is one of my favorites.
I guess I should go back to the original US anime imports, right? Lensman, 8-Man After, Robot Carnival, Vampire Hunter D, and I think that was and Akira, of course.
Yeah, Akira's so good too.
So they were great. And then yes, I saw Bloodlust in theaters when it came out. That was so awesome. Man. I still love Bloodlust. The animation in that show is top notch.
Dude, the stuff in the 90s, they added so much more detail that you really don't get anymore. Like when you go back and you watch Fist of the North Star, my gosh, it's beautiful. It really is.
Fist of the Kenshiro is so funny.
Just making people explode. It's awesome.
Oh gosh. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else I've watched. I mean, I'm sure I've watched some other stuff too. MD Geist. Yes, thank you. MD Geist was awesome. Really good. But I've seen a bunch of random anime over the years, but that's probably the main stuff. Okay. Good. Andrew Clark, thoughts on Nisemonogatari episode 8, Toothbrush. I have no idea what the fuck that is. Oh, also, I watched the entire redo of Healer, which is great. I watched the first, there's only 5 episodes I've seen of World's End Harem. Kind of funny. I don't know. Not applicable. How do you feel about Aisha from Outlaw Star? Which one was she? Let me look her up. Aisha, Outlaw Star.
Looking at that Nisemonogatari episode 8. I probably spelled that totally wrong.
Aisha's the cat chick. I've never been into like the weird monster girl thing. It's never been my
I never got into it, but closest I got was Cat Planet Cuties.
Well, that sounds terrible. Oh, I also watched Dragon Pink.
That sounds terrible.
Dragon Pink was great. If any of you know about the OVA Dragon Pink, I did watch that.
Oh, dude, that's like watching Gungrave, and every time they say Brandon Heat, it's Brandon Heat.
Yes. I have seen some of Interspecies Reviewers. Yes. Dragon Pink was, I mean, not really a hentai. It's close. Gurren Lagann. Oh yeah, I watched a lot of Gurren Lagann. I don't know if I
That's
finished it though.
good. Oh,
Yeah.
you've got to finish that. That one, oh man, that was such a good one.
So, but I do want to finish Overlord though. I was really enjoying Overlord quite a bit. Not applicable says, how do you wait? I read that one. Dr. C. Matthew Harris says, I heard you have a nice gummy toy that our mutuals would like. Touchdown. On paper, unbreaded, heartfelt. I do have a gummy toy that's disgusting. Richard Samuel Jordan says, hello, cousin. Let us go bowling. ASO says Prince Harry is probably friends with Jack Murphy. Torgo the White, Ninja Resurrection on YouTube. First search results. That's what I'm going to be doing soon. Eldritch Blasted. Nick, I was super excited to go to Anime Matsuri until you mentioned all the murder that happens in Houston. I'll do my best to exercise my Second Amendment rights. Look, I'm not joking. When we went down there last year, someone got murdered the day we got there, or like the day before we got there on the street where we were staying. Like Houston is hilarious. Murder happens all over. It was because we're right by the Astros baseball stadium. And when one of the games got out, there was some altercation, and then blam, done. Lights out. Lights out. But you're fine. You're fine. You're not going to get murdered because you're not in a random gang, and you're not going to go up to someone and start throwing fists or an attitude because you're an anime fan, and you don't do that. Right? Everybody loves anime fans because they're not in your face weirdos. Jennifer,
and you have a right to carry in the state.
You do. Jennifer Genter says, please help me and comedian Joe Reap take over the city of Hickory, North Carolina after the $750,000 disaster. Arch, look it up. Go John Reap. Okay. RJ says, I know the truth. Nick's favorite anime is Boku no Pico. Nope.
It's Hamtaro.
Icon of Sin says, go to ASEN. Look, I don't go to anime conventions that I'm not specifically invited to because I'm not going to have my ass show up in an anime convention and get thrown out.
Yeah.
And there is a non-zero chance if there is a single Funimation voice actor at any show and they find out I'm going, that I will not be welcome in the door when I arrive at the anime convention. So I'm not doing that. I'm happy to go to any convention, but I need some assurances that I'll be able to walk inside their fine establishment before I'm going to go to it.
Yeah.
Eldritch Blasted says Whitney Houston used that katana to cut up her coke. Renegade Shuriken says, you see Pippa Pipkin crapping on Funimation. I heard about it. Let me see.
I didn't see that.
I think there's a clip of it.
Oh,
here we go. 9 hours ago. Perfect. Let's see. Let's get to everybody's favorite Animu bunny. Pippa. Here we go. Oh shit. Hold on. I gotta make sure I shared the audio.
The ears just bing straight up.
All right, here's Pippa's clip. What? I can't hear anything. Damn it.
Was lost. Funimation. Ha! More like good riddance. Goodbye. Nothing of value is lost. Funimation.
Oh shit.
Ha! More like good riddance. Goodbye. Nothing of value is lost.
Oh.
There we go. Beautiful. Thank you, Pippa. The words of wisdom. You have heard the bunny speak.
Who is that? I gotta look this up now. Pippa what?
Pippa Pipkin.
Pippa.
Or Pipkin Pippa. If you type in Pippa, you'll find her.
Oh, sure.
She looks like that. Crusader Saracen says, may the favor of Allah be with both of you. Thank you, sir. Echo to Papa 2 says 40,000 episodes, and most of them are One Piece. Lieutenant Hughes says originally Crunchyroll was under the Funimation brand. Yep. It was. Well, it was under the Funimation Global Group, which then got removed. T. Lamont 941 says the middle finger is the communications finger. Samantha Schoner, Borderlands was always a favorite for me and my friends, but I don't think I'll be buying any future games after the wokeness, girl power mess of Borderlands 3. Well, and who was on Borderlands 3 playing, shockingly, a giant fat character? Jamie Markey. Doug Murray says, Nick, when I was a kid in Houston, I remember the news guy, Marvin Zindler, slime in the ice machine. Of course I remember Marvin Zindler.
In the ice
Witness
machine?
news. Yeah, they would go to like restaurants and they do the like undercover report on the restaurant. They
Oh,
go like get into
no.
their kitchen. Like, you know
Sure.
what we found? Slime in the ice machine. Cockroaches in the cupboards. That guy was awesome.
No.
Marvin Zindler was the man.
That's funny. My brother is actually a health inspector in the city of Champaign-Urbana up in Illinois, and it's a college town that has a humongous student body. They got about 1,100 restaurants there. Some of the stories that he has told me about things that they have found going on in kitchens.
Oh God.
I would get all excited. We go to visit, and I'm like, "Hey, can we go back to the awesome Mexican restaurant?" And he goes, "No, we can never ever go there
We can
again.
never go back there.
Nope, never again." Oh,
Yeah. Man, the thing I loved about Marvin Zindler was how enthusiastic all of his news. He's screaming at the news camera every time. He was awesome. Cannot believe they missed Trigun. I actively refuse to watch Trigun on principle.
really?
Yeah, same with Rurouni Kenshin.
Really? How come?
Because they're gay.
Well, yeah.
Look, when Trigun was out, do you know how many shitty Vash the Stampede cosplays existed across everywhere you went? Like you'd find them in the live, in the real world, just out there. Some dude in a red trench coat with the stupid glass. I hate it. I hate Trigun for it. I blame them forever. Every virgin in a Vash the Stampede costume needs to be thrown into the fucking sun. I'm done with it.
Into the sun. Just like all those missiles inside Superman 4, which gave birth to the Solar Man.
Dude McMahon says, hey, Eric, I'm a VA in DFW who's done voice work for an indie video game as well as radio ad that's playing right now. Both I got from sheer luck. What advice could you give me to find more work?
If you're not agented, get an agent for sure. If you don't know how to go about that, DM me on Twitter. We can talk.
Yeah. And unfortunately, that's if you want to get access to places that you don't have access in an entertainment industry. In the establishment entertainment industry, you got to have an agent because that's the whole value. They have access. They have the phone number. They have the business card. They can text whoever and they're going to get you. That's the advantage. That's why you pay them 10, 20%, whatever you end up paying them.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Leto Enchanted says, you mean she ate 4 Bulmas? Joseph Fizo, Goku is replaceable. Optimus Prime isn't. Correct. Optimus Prime was perfectly voiced.
That would be a grave mistake.
All of Transformers was. Have you ever thought back on the Transformers movie, the original one, and the cast of that? You've got Casey Kasem, you've got Orson Welles, you have Leonard Nimoy.
I didn't know Orson Welles was in that.
Yeah, he was Unicron.
I did not know that. I love Orson Welles.
You have the Micro Machines guy, and then the cast of Transformers, which was already good in its own right. What Peter Kalamis, I think, is Optimus. Was
that the one where there was the giant Transformer that looked kind of like a long necked dinosaur that's like silver? Is that one?
Nope. The Transformers movie was, I think, 1989. It had the planet Unicron. That 8 other planets, and it was coming after Cybertron, and God, it was good.
I need to go back and watch it. It's been so long. Like that.
Peter Cullen, not Peter Kalamis. Sorry, Peter Cullen.
Those movies, plus I don't know if you ever watched Dino Riders, and then like the G.I. Joe movies. Man, that was such a great era for cartoons.
Yeah, it was 1986. God, I can't remember the time frame is always screwed up for me on that. But yeah, they just had the 40 must have been the 45th anniversary then.
Oh my gosh.
No, 35th anniversary. 35th anniversary.
Wow.
And then yeah, Stan Bush did the soundtrack. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna have to. I need to go. I gotta go look this back up.
Yeah, and Weird Al's on the soundtrack, and
dude, isn't Daniel Radcliffe gonna be playing Weird Al in his biopic?
I have no idea.
I just heard that yesterday, and I thought that was strange.
Oh, the two Stan Bush songs in the Transformers soundtrack are fire.
Just like the first time you heard Kenny Loggins' "Highway to the Danger Zone."
Kenny Loggins also did Playing with the Boys in Top Gun as well, and several other fantastic songs. But that is the gayest song ever. You don't even need the volleyball scene to make it gay. It's gay all on its own.
Playing with the boys.
Let's see. Your mental illness says the most recent Hotel Transylvania doesn't even have Adam Sandler, and no one seemed to notice. They replaced him with some YouTube impressionist.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, they replaced fucking the lead singer of Journey with a random Filipino dude. I mean, they can replace you if they can replace what's his name? The lead singer of Journey. What was his name? Oh God, I can't remember. Doesn't matter. But if you can replace Journey, right? You can replace whoever. It's not going to happen. Poker says top 5 best and worst top hits of 2021. Wait, of like, I'm supposed to pick 5 pieces of entertainment from 2021 that are worth anything.
Wait, was WAP 2021 or 2020?
Steve Perry. Oh my God, I couldn't think of Steve Perry. Good God. don't stop a bereaving.
Sung by William Hung.
Oh God.
I have no professional training. Yeah, we can tell. We can tell.
That was good. I can't, man. Top 5 best and or worst top hits of 2021. I couldn't tell you what good things came out in 2021. I honestly have no idea. Redo of the Healer is all 5 of them. Best and worst.
There you go. There you go.
I legitimately don't know what like things I would have enjoyed from 2021 specifically, but Redo of Healer, I legitimately found hilarious joy in that show. Eldritch Blasted says, do the over 9,000 scene as Nappa, Nick as Vegeta. Eric is Nappa, Nick is Vegeta. I
Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his power level?
What? Over 9,000?
What?
That's
9,000?
impossible. I don't know the progression of the lines.
You got it. It was.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Shift kiss.
C Goody says, I thought mods were gay. That picture needs to get framed and put on your bedside, Nick. No, it doesn't. It'll haunt me. Crusader says, Eric looks like he's streaming from the Beyond section of Bed Bath & Beyond.
I might have a remote control inside here and also the narration of James Earl Jones stuck in my head.
Let's see. Yes, Peter Cullen is opted. I said Peter Kalamis, who was the original English Goku, I think, before Sean Schemmel decided that he was the only Goku to ever exist. Bad Beer says, just saying, my name is Bad Beer. You have screwed it as well. You have screwed it as well as Quarter Black. Sorry. Bad Beer. I probably said Bada Beer. 2D Harem King Jack says Nick is too white to appreciate Mexican candy. Yes, I'm not an impoverished third world nation, so I can I only have good candy. Proper white man candy.
And salsa Getty too. The kids are gonna love that.
Oh shit! @#hashtag says, please say a prayer for Gavin. He did get wrecked by that page.
Yeah,
That happened.
yeah.
Let's see. Next is King Mo. Ask his opinion on Johnny Young Bosch. Is it true he's as nice as they say? Do you have an opinion on Johnny Young Bosch?
I've never met him, but I hear good things.
There you go. Luna LaFay says, Eric, balls or no balls on your futanari?
Balls.
Thank you. The only
Always balls.
objectively correct answer. Timothy Reaper says, hey, Nick, can you read this? I can. That's not. Fuck you. It's in cursive. See, Goody says, here's some shekels for Eric being such an unbreaded Chad.
Yeah.
Crusader says, recently I got to watch Macross Plus in theaters for a special rescreening. It was awesome.
So
dude,
cool.
the music's great. The show's great. Isamu and Guld's conflict is great. Mune's such a bitch, and she deserves every bad thing that happens to her. That whole anime is just really good, and you get to see just how much women screw up everything. It's perfect. It's perfect. Also, Jan, when he got ejected, should have been shot with a missile. Abe Burkat says, can we get some merch? Maybe some unbreaded or law merch. I have a shitty merch store on Teespring, but it's going to get it's on my short list of things to overhaul and revamp. And yes, unbreaded merch is part of the revamp, but I'm bad at making merch, and I'm looking into some people who might be able to help me make some better stuff.
I got an idea for you, and it goes off one of the super chats I heard you read. Was it 2 nights ago when Drex was on? And it was you need a picture of 2 slices of bread together with jelly on top and then peanut butter underneath.
Oh,
and just
so filthy.
2 fingers. Like, oh,
so filthy. Disgusting. See, Cave Canum in the chat has it right. Imagine wanting a shaft but no balls. Very breaded. See? That's the truth. That's the truth. No balls is weird.
yeah.
It's weird.
It's like them poor little eunuchs who, like, can eunuchs even get aroused? I've always wondered that.
I don't know. I don't think they should exist. Abe Burkat says, can we Crusader says, it's not Fat Tuesday, it's Body Positive Tuesday now.
Oh,
that's true. Crusader says, by Allah, if you say Edwin, I will beat you with 32 shoes. Kyan Rennell says, who's Cynthia and how did she hurt you? Who's Cynthia? Oh, she knows who she is. That's all that matters. She didn't hurt me. She only hurt herself. Chief Slingin' Beef says, just bought the original Dragon Ball, not Z, to watch with my son. Also glad I left East Virginia for Tennessee. Visit the volunteer state. Someone, brother. I think he means sometime. I would love to come back to Tennessee. My friend Doug is in Tennessee. My friend Tug is also in Tennessee. And I've never visited Tug at his abode, but did get to see him at Bubba Fest. Would love to go back there. Unfortunately for Bubba Fest, the owner of Bubba Fest happened to scam the U.S. government out of $260,000 in COVID relief funds and has been federally charged with that. So I'm pretty sure there's not going to be another Bubba Fest.
Yeah, it's going to have to be Django Fest.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not great. Sauron's right-hand man says, congratulations, Eric. Been enjoying your content since the early days of Master Chief armor tutorials. You've come a long way. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
Dex Luther. Oh, that's with the Ava foam, right?
Yep.
Very
Yes,
cool.
sir.
If you guys want to learn how to build like stuff for cosplay, Eric talks about that. And
that
stuff.
I do. I always got so frustrated watching somebody be like, all right, guys, today we're going to build this thing. And then I'm like, sweet. And the video's only 10 minutes long. And I'm like, and then it was just like a super fast speed cut. And then they're at the end going, all right, so here it is. I was like, no, we'll do the whole 4-hour slog. Let them work through it.
Who am I supposed to go off on? I just saw something in the chat. Oh, because you're clicking. You're clicking on your mouse. Or do you have a you have a fidget thing
I do.
for your ADD or whatever?
The old OCD. It helps the ticks.
You know you can't do that with a Yeti mic.
It's honestly, it's probably this old set of skull candies that I have plugged in over here. I think there's
No, it's your Yeti.
Probably the bullets or something are causing it to just act weird.
No, it's the Yetis pick up everything like that.
Well, I'm so sorry. I wish I knew
No,
this. I'll put
it's
my hands in my
fine.
pockets from here on out.
It's fine. Yeah.
If I can
do
get
that.
them.
Do whatever you. What are you wearing? Skinny jeans like a weirdo?
No,
Can't get your hands in your pockets.
I mean, I thought we were both naked from the waist down.
Yeah, well, you're the one who talked about pockets. I don't have pockets.
Maybe my pants are
I
laying
have
in
a
my
prison wallet, but that's it.
The old ham wallet.
Yeah, no, Yetis, man, they pick up any like sharp noise like crazy. Gross. So I was yesterday after I got off of Twitch, I clicked through a bunch of the recommended channels, and every one of them sounded the exact same. It was amazing. They all sounded like this.
What is that?
There, I just made $12,000.
Who is that weird chick like last week or something who was messing around with a rubber phallus on Twitch and everybody just I think she got banned or something like that. It was stupid.
No, she wasn't. It wasn't a rubber phallus. It was a microphone. So they have these microphones. It's 2 ears that have very sensitive microphones in each ear. And so that's what they all buy, and all the thoughts buy these things. And so they can sit there and lick the ear constantly. But she had one, she's just going with it. It was so funny.
Dude.
But at least she's honest.
I guess. I mean,
I clicked through 6 different streams in a row, and it was all some cleavagey chick sitting there looking bored out of her mind, just going and slobbing on an ear, a fake ear. Just for hours and hours they do this, and they know they're not creating content, right? Like they know that this isn't creative or special or whatever, and you can see it. You can see because somewhere in there is a glimmer of a person that was killed.
Yeah, their soul is just dead.
And they just sit there licking a microphone for days. I don't. It's like just find a dick anyway and lick that, please.
Dude,
at least maybe something good will come of it.
Yeah, get yourself a box of donuts and do a mukbang, something. Like, okay, have you seen this GIF floating around or this meme? It says what women were doing back in the 40s, and it's like these Rosie the Riveter kind of girls, and they're putting together tiger tanks and all kinds of stuff. And then it says what women are doing now. And it was some gussied up hussy, and she's got one of those Snapchat filters on with the dog ears and the tongue sticking out and little sparklies around. Oh, we are
I wish
silly
it was just
people.
that. I want to go back to the simpler days, the halcyon times of a dog Snapchat filter, rather than some chick just slobbing on an ear microphone for 6 hours at a time. Hours. And then when they're not there, they just play replays. No one notices.
What the? Oh my God.
It's the same bullshit. I hate it, man. I hate it, and I hate the dudes. They spend so much money on this stuff.
Okay, it's gonna sound a little gay, but I watch Bailey Sarian every once in a while. Bailey Sarian, she's a makeup artist, but she does like murder makeup mystery Monday, and she discusses like some true crime murder. There was one on there where this guy, he got super in to this this OnlyFans chick. I forget what her name was, but he was literally funneling just tons and tons and tons and tons of money to this chick, and he was convinced that they had a real relationship. And she's doing more or less like the girl in that episode of South Park from Raisins, who's like, oh hey sweetie, yeah, why don't you just come see me at Raisins? Oh yeah, we'll hang out there. This guy funneled thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to the point where he stole his parents' credit card, funneled more money to her, and then he eventually kills his whole family.
Oh yeah, I heard about that guy.
It was freaking bananas. But like all this chick does is like sits in front of her little ring light. Let me make a duck face, and I can, here's my shoulder, and flashes some side boob. Oh my gosh, we are a silly people.
Like I am a breast guy. I love them. They're beautiful. They're
Yeah.
perfect. God
You
made
wouldn't be a
them, and
man if you weren't.
they're great. I have seen so much cleavage on Twitch that it's actually like depressing.
Yeah, nothing
And I'm
left
like,
to the imagination.
all I wanted in the world was cleavage everywhere, and then I got it handed to me on Twitch, and I was like, I hate this. Like I legitimately hate it because it's nothing. It's just a line now. It's just a dark line on a chest. And I'm like, this, you have ruined. How did you ruin tits? I didn't know it was possible. And these damn harlots have done it. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for it. Put them in burqas.
Yep, dude, just
put them in burqas.
sew it
Not
up.
all women, just those.
Yeah, agreed.
Dex Luther says Samurai Pizza Cats is the best anime. Changed my mind. Andrew Clark. No, sorry. What was it? Street Sharks. That was the best anime.
Street Sharks.
Andrew Clark says episode 8 is about incest toothbrushing. Ruriko 8 or Ruriko 13 says, "Hi Nick, have you seen Bubblegum Crisis?" I think I saw Bubblegum Crisis so many years ago. I could not identify it though. Like I think I've seen parts of Project Eiko. I think I've seen parts of Nadesco, Furikuri. I've seen so many random anime things that I
just one big handsome blur.
Record of Lotus War stuff. Like
Lotus War, yeah. Did you ever see Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind? It's a Miyazaki flick.
I don't think so.
It's really, really good. Because Hideki Anno had a hand in creating it, and you really, really get the sense of it. It's outstanding movie.
Nick has gone full gay. No. Wait, Nick sounds like he reached the kill screen of porn. No, I didn't. It wasn't even porn. It was on Twitch. It's on Twitch. It's like it doesn't even move anymore. Shadow Fenrir 24 says thoughts on Blue Sub 6, first anime to use CGI.
Blue Sub 6 is good.
I didn't watch it.
It's very good. It's just like a standalone little movie. It's really, really good.
Dr. Squirrel Boy 12 says, guess your taste isn't that bad. Check out Steins Gate. Yeah, I think Anime Outsiders has recommended that before. And Yujo Senki, also Toradora, if you like romance.
Toradora,
definitely make a My Anime List account when you have time. Well, it's I need to watch Garo Vanishing Line. That's what I need to watch from what I heard.
Garo Vanishing Line, yeah.
Samurai Knight says Nick's favorite anime is Trigun. He loves Vash. You stop it. Stop it. Death Trout. Have you seen the clip of the news anchor talking about someone being arrested for kid touching while showing a graphic about the State of the Union address? I did see that. I also saw how quickly they switched cameras and took the infographic down. It was great.
Dude, that was like that food commercial while the sacking of Kyiv is going on, and suddenly 2 for 2 on Arby's. Come on down, get yourself a burger and a steak.
Malkaran, thanks for the donation. IWD. The 80s had some interesting voice actors. The dude who played Sosa in Scarface voiced Jenner in The Secret of Nim, for example.
Secret of Nim. Oh my gosh, I haven't.
Did you ever see The Wizard or The Point?
Wait. The Wizard sounds familiar. Was that the video game player?
No, not that one.
The Wizard.
Was it Wizards? Maybe it was Wizards. Hold on. Yeah, it was Wizards. 1977.
No, I never did.
Here, I'll pull up the cover. Pull up the cover. Oh shit. We have to watch this trailer.
Okay.
This might get copyright claim. We're gonna do it anyway. Let me see.
For the fans.
I don't think there's gonna be a copy claim on this. Guys, this is from 1977. This is Wizards. I watched this as a kid. I don't remember anything about it, but I just started watching the trailer, and I think we have to watch this. Here we go.
There will come a time on the planet Earth when science and technology will be long forgotten. When humanity will rise from the ashes of nuclear holocaust.
Whoa.
Wizards will rule the world. 20th Century Fox presents Wizards, a futuristic fantasy epic born in the mind of Ralph Bakshi, the master of animated magic.
The rotoscope?
It is the story of two brothers, Avatar and Black Wolf, powerful wizards, and mortal enemies from the day they were born. Avatar, the good, who rules the peaceful kingdom of Montagar with wisdom.
Science and technology were outlawed millions of years ago.
And magic. Black Wolf, the future fury.
Whoa.
Who rediscovers the ancient secrets of propaganda. Technology. And war.
Oh,
Sends out his mutant armies in a reign of unimaginable terror.
I need to see this.
look at this.
In Wizards, you will also meet
Oh.
the loyal elf,
Oh my gosh.
and Peace, Black Wolf's evil robot henchman, who is transformed into an avenging instrument of justice. Wizards is a Tolkien world of fairies and elves, sorcerers, and demons. It is shot 10 million years from now, against strange and huge panoramic settings. And it is more fantastic, more enchanting, and more powerful than anything you've seen before. Wizards,
Listen to this
the
trailer,
ultimate
though.
futuristic
Dude, she
fantasy.
doesn't sound convinced. Whoa.
That
need to
trailer, that was awesome.
That looks like it's done by the same guys who did the original cartoon Hobbit movies.
Yeah, could be. I mean,
I
it's
need to
just that
see
old
this.
style of animation.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen that movie in easily 30, 34 years. So
You ever seen Zardoz?
I don't think so.
Oh man. For all the Sean Connery fans out there, do yourself a favor and then think Rick and Morty while you're watching it.
Go. Okay, sorry, that was a sidetrack. C Goody says, from Mandy, do you think you can get an interview with Chad Prather? He ran for Texas governor. He has a
He
YouTube
did.
show, and he's a total Texan babe. I think you'll love him. Look, he's a Texan babe. So wait, this is going to be like male eye candy. I can't do this too often. Okay.
I wouldn't say he's exactly eye candy. I mean, there's no Eric Rolon, but he wears a Stetson, all right.
Only if I get Sarah, what's her name, on the lawyer who ran for the Texas rail commissioner, or is running
my
for the Texas rail
gosh.
commissioner.
That freaking ad.
She's an attorney. I got to get her on the
Oh.
show. I have a moral obligation to do this.
I mean,
think.
yeah. Well, and yeah, absolutely. And for science, of course.
See, that was tasteful thoughterly. That's what happened right there.
Yeah, she had the black stars. Only it's a Lone Star state, so it's unfortunate she had two of them.
Yeah. Ryan, the editor, says obligatory retainment super chat. Oh, hi, Eric. He also says Charlie D'Angelo also says, Nick, just curious, is Eric related to Brendan Fraser? He looks like him so much. I enjoyed Encino Man. You don't look like Brendan Fraser anymore. Like Brendan Fraser now looks like four of you.
I'm not related to Brendan Fraser. I did get to sort of meet him when I was working at Disney World. It was a cool little encounter.
Mandy Karavich says Nick hates women. I am a big fan of women. A big fan. IWD says, Nick, if you like Wizards, you might enjoy Fire and Ice. If I recall correctly, it's the only time Frank Frazetta did animation work. Very cool.
Fire and Ice.
There we go. That's it. I think. Oh, wait. Nope. There's one more. Two more. Oh, Gonzo says, does Ghost Stories count as abridged? I don't think so. And he also says, damn it. Gotta stop yawning. Also, Spanish dubs are better than English dubs. Change my mind. Sub is still best, though. I'm not here to change your mind. on any of that. I'm not here for that. Kalinka Pavlova, but you're a small fan of big women. Very true. I may be a heckler. I may not be a fan technically of big women, but I'm a fan of small women. Apparently Wizards is on Spectrum on demand from the FX movie channel. Well, there you go.
Awesome. I need to.
All right. That's it. That's where we are. I got to go to Twitch. I'm supposed to play Elden Ring, and I hear it's going to take me like an hour to make my stupid character.
We'll have a party, man. Enjoy that salsa-getti, and hey, I think you've earned that can of wine and that lollipop.
You're disgusting. All right. I appreciate it. Where can people find you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Eric Rolon. That's with one L, ERICROLON. You can also find me on YouTube at the channel Angel Legend. It is ANGELEGEND, all one word. And you'll find links to my website on both locations. I am currently, I guess, doubling on my show and then my friend Stuart's show, which is called The Flawed Man of God. You can find him on YouTube at A Flawed Man. I go on his every other Tuesday, so obviously not tonight, but next Tuesday. And we get into where culture and Christianity intersect. And it is it's a really nice time. It's for anybody who wants to learn a little bit more about Christianity, learn a little bit more about what the word actually says. We get into it, and it's a lot of fun.
All righty. Well, thanks for hanging out tonight, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for hanging out with us. I'm going to play the outro, and we'll see you over on Twitch in a few minutes. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Have a good night, guys.
Peace.
Oh, he drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some lost-plaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an Ardbeg, a Balmore, a Lovebrug. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, the guests are all planet folks, from Dante to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. Get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea post on Twitter as we hear lost-plaining tonight. From the white shores of Nairn to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the